Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Critical Role, where a bunch of us nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, shit.
That might be the worst.
Oh, no.
Wow, man.
So welcome, Travis, and all of you guys. Before we jump into tonight's game, let's go and get to some announcements real fast, so hang tight with us for a moment. All right, first and foremost, tonight, our fantastic returning sponsor for this campaign beginning and in the foreseeable future, until they decide to vanish and puff smoke, it is D&D Beyond. Happy to have you guys. Sam, did you have a few words on that?
D&D Beyond has a mobile app, guys, and it is out on beta. You can download it now at the App Store and the Google Play Store, the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. And because not most, but a lot of our audience is located in the United Kingdom,
Yeah.
I tailored tonight's D&D Beyond pitch to the British audience.
Oh, wow.
I'm so sorry.
Oi, mates! Have a butchers and be gobbed by this brand new D&D Beyond mobile app for your dog and bone.
Sorry, kid.
I know my onions on this, and I ain't all mouth and no trousers. It's a real corker of an app, and you can nick yours on the Apple App Store and blimey, the bloody Google Play Store too. Are you skint? Tosh, it's free, and that's the dog's bollocks. You don't gotta be minted to get sorted. There's nothing bent as a 9-bob note about it. You get an e-reader with the beta, and character sheets will be added in the future tickety-boo. So don't,
Wow.
That's a real phrase that I looked up. So don't faff a dozy fortnight. You'll be right gutted if you do. Oh, sweet Fanny Adams, don't wag off. Search D&D Beyond at your app store and you'll be jolly good chuffed about it. Oh, now I'm knackered and cream crackered, so I'm off to Bedfordshire. Pip, pip.
Yes.
Wow.
I feel like that was Masterpiece Theater all in one.
to applaud that.
Really
I feel like it would be really hard to do quickly, so I'm impressed.
Thank you, Sam.
yourself, mate.
And we're sorry. Also, as a quick note for you guys, they began posting article content on dndbeyond.com, which has been awesome. They've done video content before, now they're doing article content as well, editorial, which our very own James Hake, who you may know, helped me with the Tal'Dorei campaign guide, a fantastic writer and a good friend of the show, is doing stuff there now. He's officially on board with D&D Beyond, and he's doing campaign 2 summaries right now for the Critical Role campaign. So we posted every episode recaps every Friday. Check him out. So awesome. Congratulations to you, James. And if you haven't checked it out, please do, because he's amazing. At dndbeyond.com. ND, not end. ND. Alrighty. So, next up, reminder for you guys who have Amazon Prime with Twitch Prime, you can subscribe to any channel on Twitch for free each month. You get one, you can subscribe for free. Just connect your Amazon Prime to your Twitch account, and it's a little button press, and there you go. So, it's awesome. Talks Machina, hosted by Brian W. Foster, who now I'm tempted to mess up his name every week, because apparently it really... So, but anyway, he hosts our fantastic Talks Machina wrap-up show about today's episode next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific here on Twitch and Alpha. So check it out there and check out whatever cast members show up to dish the dirt and shoot the shit and whatever else involves doing something and something. You got it. Daylight savings time hits the U.S. on Sunday.
That's true.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Why would they do that?
Well, it's on the list. If it's not, I don't know anymore.
Spring forward.
Spring.
What's that mean?
So-
Lose an hour.
Lose an hour.
So check out wheniscriticalrole.com for an update on when Talks Machina and Critical Role will be live in your time zone if you aren't lucky enough to be living in the dark ages like America is when it comes to keeping track of your time.
Also, if you're watching this episode in July of 2019, you're welcome.
The podcast episode of last week's episode of Critical Role is available now for all your fine downloadable podcast purposes. And there's no giveaways tonight from Wormwood, but congratulations to our friends at Wormwood on the success of their Adventures Arsenal Kickstarter. All you guys who supported to it. It looks really awesome. And all the critters who supported it, thank you so much. And we'll hopefully be back to get something in next week. We have a couple other cool announcements. One, issue 5 of Vox Machina Origins is out. If you haven't seen it yet, it's
Beat to shit Vax on the front. It's fucking awesome.
it's pretty great.
Yeah, it's an issue.
It's really good. And we've already gotten back a good portion of the art for issue 6, the end of this arc, and it looks really good. But yeah, if you haven't had a chance, check it out. You can download it on Comixology, on the Dark Horse Comics app and many other places where fine comic books are sold digitally.
Laserdisc.
Yes, that too. Let's see.
I have an announcement.
Yes, you
Is
do.
it on the list?
I think it might be.
Okay.
I will be leaving late tonight, like post midnight, to fly out to Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh, gross. Really?
Yeah, but it'll be great because I'll be at the Lexington Toy and Comic Convention to hang out with a bunch of you guys out there in Kentucky. So if you haven't already decided to go and you're in the vicinity, please come. We'll have panels and signings and be around. We can hang out, top stories, and just be general nerds. So
Wait, are you leaving from here to there, or are
I'm
you
leaving from
waking
here
up?
to home to pack and then leaving.
Oh, you haven't packed?
I had to finish campaign prep. It's a sprint every day. It'll be fine. I'll be fine. Laura, you had an announcement?
Yes, I do. Oh my gosh, you guys. Merchandise.
What?
Number one, the tarot cards, which a lot of people have been asking about, are back in stock right now in the Geek and Sundry store.
Glory.
Number 2 and 3, check out these fabulous t-shirts.
These are new T-shirts.
Look at this, our throwback shirt. And we redid our logo shirt in new
Darkest Timeline shirt.
sophisticated-
Critical Role Darkest Timeline.
If you're looking for them, they're not in the store now. We wanted
Wait,
to
they're
announce
not?
them.
They're not next
I know,
week.
I know. They're going to be available next Thursday. We're announcing them right now so that those of you that don't see it live,
mad at us.
Yeah, so this is kind of like, this is like a little love to
know ahead of
YouTube. Now you've got 4 days to
Think
figure stuff
about the
out.
Europes and the other
Exactly.
places that are asleep.
Everyone can watch
yes.
Those
they're,
people you just addressed.
Oh, wait.
they're going to be there on Thursday next week.
Awesome. Thank you, Laura.
Thanks everybody for talking over my fucking announcement.
Wow. Hey, it's okay,
was
baby.
important.
It's okay.
You got this, Travis. This is all you.
I know, I don't have it at home, but I'm here. Son of a bitch! You did this to me. You want some pickle juice?
I will take some pizza.
There you go. And last but not least, we have a cool announcement for an upcoming event. For those of you who are in, around, or planning to visit Chicago in April for C2E2, I think pretty much the whole cast, aside from Ashley, will be filming. But we'll all be there for Critical Role panel signing events, all that kind of fun stuff. So in Chicago, April 7th on Saturday and April 8th on Sunday, we'll be there to party in
yes.
Chicago.
Panels and autographs. We loved the critters that came out in Seattle, Chicago.
yeah.
It's time to represent.
I want to taste some bratwurst.
Yeah.
That
I
can be
want
done.
some beers.
Style bears.
I
Yeah.
want
bears.
some Chicago style pizza.
Okay. Yep.
So bring all those for Sam at the signing.
Your English
By
accent
the
just got
way,
so much better. I'm
This,
so excited.
this isn't an announcement, but I think it's important that I only chose from dice that were given to me in Seattle for my dice that I was rolling tonight. I know.
There were two
Resisted
fucking.
the
may have picked from the remains, Carrie and Mike as well, to grab a couple of those.
I would like to announce a small amount of progress for Laura Bailey, who resisted the urge to keep a super cool D20 for herself, which she wanted to do. She gave it to me.
I was ordered to, so
Yeah,
yes.
hopefully it stays in my bag.
I have one final announcement.
Okay.
Key question just came out. Yeah, on Tuesday. It's a show that Key and I created. We talk
Met
about
Key.
Deadpool Met Key. Watch Alpha. For those who want to watch it and don't want to pay for Alpha, you can get a free 60 days with the promo code question. There were a ton of people who responded to my tweet with the promo code in it saying, yeah, but I don't want to have to pay for Alpha. I'm
Wow.
like, you need to read further down the
Reading
tweet.
was overvalued.
So I'm telling you now, promo code Alpha. No, promo code for Alpha. Question 60 days. Go watch it.
Roll a d20 real quick, just for that.
What?
So yeah, to finish up the
Oh,
C2E2
no, I did
announcement.
okay. I did okay.
The full schedule will be announced for us at C2E2 early next week. You can buy tickets at c2e2.com. And tomorrow is the deadline to order badges to receive them by mail. So any badge orders after that will be
Okay.
held at well call. So just a heads up. And I think that's the last of our announcements.
Yeah.
And with that, let's jump into tonight's episode
Oh my goodness.
of Critical Role. So, last we left off, the newly decided upon title for this adventuring group was announced to Bryce. And as such, you are now referred to as the Mighty Nein.
Nine.
The Mighty No in Zemnian.
Big nope.
But upon finishing your business in Allfield, you acquired your new cart, new horses, and found your way on the Ember Road northward for a number of days, making your way towards Zadash. Along the way, you had some curious naps. You found some cool little landmarks from a war-long past. You were nearly robbed and instead shooed them off with cries of extreme syphilis. And then entered the gates of Zadash yourselves, upon which you briefly met a character named Ulysses, who offered, at a bit of cost, to show you around the town for the remainder of the day. Unfortunately, the sun set within the next couple hours. But you were led towards the Penta Market, where you did a little bit of shopping, offloaded some things you'd acquired in your previous venture in the mines where you battled the gnolls.
The mines!
Encountered a purveyor of various magical artifacts named Enchanter Pumat's Soul. Acquired some baked goods from the market. And then finished up by making your way to the Leaky Tap, to where you had just begun to cross the threshold when we left off last week. So, with that, coming in out of the now cold night air, mouths filled with various crumbs and residue of sweets having been consumed on the walk, you enter the darkened interior of the Leaky Tap. Now, the Leaky Tap itself is a simple but very large tavern. You can see there's space here for at least a dozen tables and chairs and stools crowded around. While it lacks decor, it seems to have charm with a rather ratty-looking band in the corner that's playing mostly on key, where it appears that a number of people who have found their way from the this is the eastern outer steads, I believe, have wandered in to spend whatever coppers they want to throw towards a drink to send their cares away for the evening and or argue with each other about how better to make the day before them. So upon stepping into the chamber, you can see there's already about 25 patrons scattered amongst the tables, and the evening just appears to be slowly crawling to more of a roar. There's chatter and whispers, there's laughter and the clanks of metal and glass. You can see already there's one long bar in the far end of the room that is broken in the center for a number of entryway hatches. And you can see two busied bartenders rushing back and forth. What do you guys want to do?
I, Sam Regal, want to go back and see Pumat Soul again.
Yeah.
You can.
But that
you
would
can.
not make narrative sense.
There's always tomorrow.
Can I just do a quick kind of case of the room, see if I, see anybody suspicious? Do the old,
Giving the old evil eye.
Make a perception check.
Come on, first roll of the night.
perception check.
Hooah!
Okay, that's not too bad. 15.
15, okay. Glancing about, most of the patrons in here range from somewhat dusty, destitute clothing that looks to be torn and ragged at the edges. Some can be farmhands, but most of the farm work you've seen are done in the outskirts of the outer walls of Zadash. But you've also walked through folks in the streets that sit on the side peddling handcrafted wares and whatever they can muster to try and make ends meet on the outskirts of the city proper. You notice what looks to be two fairly dressed individuals compared to the rest that are in the process of doing a quick game of cards. You can see what looks to be a large group of people that are just beginning to gather and kind of keeping an eye out towards the door if anybody else they recognize is going to come in. Looks to be about 8 or so strong, with what looks to be a younger half-elf woman or so who's kind of, as you guys enter, sees you, kind of glances over and then shakes her head and then goes back to conversation.
Bachelorette party.
Yeah.
Oh, straight up.
For sure.
Yeah, you can see the whole like banner on the thing.
Penis necklaces.
Dick whistle.
Yeah.
It's D&D, so they're real penises.
Yeah. No penises. Yeah.
Cast identify on that.
Take over the head.
The attunement process is a little weird. Anyway.
I met a bar with those.
You do see one of the barkeeps kind of leaves behind and kind of gives a finger off to the other one to pick up the slack. The one leaving looks to be an elven woman, little, what would look to be the equivalent of a human 40s or so. So who knows how long her actual elven age is, but looks graceful if a lit. Looking a bit disheveled, hair pulled back and kind of just tied into a small kind of haphazard bun, simple apron, and washing up her hands and toweling them off as she passes off for the full bar to what you see to be a male dragonborn in white scaled, very kind of plump physique. He himself is wearing a similar apron with a big smile on his face. He seems jolly and rushing back and forth, taking orders, filling drinks, and looks like even though he's a bit stressed at the moment, having to take the slack, is handling it with a smile and is used to the usual evening ruckus.
And so the two, the Dragonborn and the female elven lady, are kind of seem to be running the joint.
They seem to be, yeah.
Copy that.
I figure we want some drinks and food, yeah?
And also, we should rent some rooms.
Oh,
Hey, Jester, it looks like there's a game of cards going on over there.
Oh, okay. I will.
Just tossing it
I
out.
will do that.
Just. You don't have to take mine.
Or you could eat first,
I'm
and then
gone.
we've been traveling.
I saw that you were eyeballing the room. All is good.
What?
Everything is good.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. Seems like a room. People in it.
That is accurate.
Yeah.
Sir, can I bother you for a second?
At that point, a hand comes up, goes, "Hey, excuse me, just a moment." It fills up, looks to be 2 tankers on the side, slides them down a bit, grabs a couple silver, pockets it, turns back.
He's ready.
Turns back to you, and maybe a good solid inch or two taller than you. You can see what was a burly-looking dragonborn with
You're not grog anymore.
Who's that?
with a kind of a dangerous look in front of the snout that as soon as it spins to you and then gets to you with this big toothy grin, you can see scars and areas where it's been split in the past. This guy's seen some rough action in his past. But as soon as the large dragon mouth curls up into this smile, the kind of golden yellow eyes peeking from behind the stark white scales that themselves look a bit dusty. Yes.
What? So what can I do for you? Yeah, I mean, can we just grab any kind of booth or table that's available? We're looking for some food and drink this evening.
Well, food and drink, I can go and get started. At least get the order in the kitchen, pick a table, see the spill, go ahead and rack up. You're paying up front or you're racking up a tab?
Like a tab. Yeah.
A tab with a conversation of possible rooms for rent later.
Ooh, how many rooms you looking? I'll be right with you on this shit.
Yes?
How many rooms you got?
Looks into the
Remy?
counter real fast.
Fun
and
with that?
Yeah.
Pulls up what looks to be a small board.
Three
we go.
rooms.
Oh, we got plenty. We've got 7 of them open, so 3 rooms and a tab under the name.
9.
9.
Just 9.
9 will do.
60.
9.
Yeah.
N-I-E-N. 9.
Oh, Zemnian. Fucking weird.
It is one
All right.
languages of the country.
It's a lovely language.
And what was your name?
Me, I'm Wessick the Trim.
Wessick the Trim.
Good name.
We have the same
Joe,
middle name.
Purveyor the bar here and
Is he in fact trim? Or is this just...
No, he is a plump dragonborn.
Just checking if
He
it was an ironic
he has
nickname or
lived
not.
a happy midlife.
so I'm purveyor of drinks and keeper of food here at the Leaky Tap. And, well, happy to get your food orders in, get some drinks to your table, sit back, relax, and it's usually a show at some point in the night.
I'm hopping over to the card game.
All right.
Yeah, tag along beside her. Hey, do I see any other goblins in this bar?
Make a perception check.
2.
No. In fact, from your height, it's just a lot of bums.
A lot of butts.
Just a whole lot of butts in there.
I
Just a bunch.
can assume that I'm okay then.
Yeah.
Any other half-orcs in this bar?
You do not see any half-orcs in this bar. So as you go over to the table, the two gentlemen playing cards, you sit down and glance. One of them looks to be an older man in his 50s or so, kind of his patterned baldness, kind of curling back, but has this kind of curled kind of mush of brown, now graying hair on the outskirts of it. He's wearing, looks to be a billowing shirt of a nicer silk. That's why I kind of caught your eye. These two seem not to be extremely well off by any means, but at least better than a lot of the other riffraff that are finding their way in, including you guys.
My dress is nice.
Your dress is pretty nice. That's right. You're true. The other one is in the process of very heavily concentrating on his hand. This one looks a lot younger. He has this kind of scraggly mustache. Looks like he's probably been growing it since childhood, and it's just let it go in its glory. He has a button-up high collar bit, and what looks to be a cravat that is just kind of loosened and fallen. Both of these gentlemen, upon a closer look, like they're dressing up beyond their station, and at the end of the night have come to just alleviate their stresses with drink and yelling at each other over cards.
Maverick cosplay.
I sit down.
Yes.
So what are we playing? Are we playing Go Fish or War or...
They both kind of stop mid-conversation, glance over. But playing whatever suits us at the moment. We're in the midst...
What is suiting you right now?
Well, we are in the moment of finishing a quick game of poker. But if you would be so kind as to leave us to our game in peace, that would be appreciated.
But I will play with you. I'm not very good, so you can take so much money from me.
Yes. Grifted girl.
Make a deception check.
I am watching this from the table. This is the show.
17.
17? The younger one who was talking to you kind of glances over to the older gentleman who's in the process of glancing back, and they take a moment and they both look back to you together. I suppose if you want to buy in, then that is your choice.
You can finish your game, though. I'll just watch.
And they wordlessly continue the game. They begin arguing over the process of rising prices between irons coming down from the Druvenlode city, which is one of the large mining cities in the Empire. They begin to also discuss the quality of alcohol seems to be diminishing the more they drink. And then eventually, with one final hand, it looks like the younger one slaps down his cards, and the older one, in frustration, goes, Fine. You in?
I applaud the younger guy. Do you want to play now? Do you want to play?
I'll just watch for now. Do you want me to go get you a drink and bring it back, or are you okay?
No, unless you want to get some milk.
I'll just watch for now.
What is the buy-in?
What do you wish to play?
What do you wish to play?
For the sake of ease of the sudden card game, we'll just... He looks around the other guy. Do you know the King's Call?
I do. Oh, I love this. This is the one I was telling you about.
You were?
Yeah, remember with the 3 cards?
Oh, yes, I remember.
Yes.
Very well, then. He begins to shuffle the cards rather rapidly before he begins dealing out the early sets.
Is it a clean shuffle?
You may make a perception check.
I would watch that too.
Yeah.
Are
I'm
you
watching.
this?
Okay. Nope, I don't see shit.
I would be watching this too because I'm kind of a...
Make a perception check.
I also have a question. Is there any rafters or any high place in the room behind these gentlemen?
There are rafters, yeah. It's not a very high peak ceiling. It begins, the actual roofing element of this at least begins about 12 feet up. Yes. And there's a small space before the beams kind of meet the top. So
for the moment, I scooch Frumpkin down to the floor and send him off towards behind these gentlemen and just to hang around under that spot for the moment.
All right.
Overwatch.
22 perception.
All right. It seems to be a clean shuffle.
Great.
And a clean deal.
Do we put like what? Like 2 gold in or like some silver?
Both the guys look at each other again, their eyes a little wide. Two gold would suffice, yes,
Okay,
of course.
Okay.
Kind of strokes his way too soft mustache.
Yeah. Not all there, mustache.
So then,
I think you are too young to be watching this. You should come sit with me over here.
Oh, it's very fascinating,
No, it's
though.
a bad idea. You're too little for gambling.
I'm not too little, not you're not.
She doesn't think I am, but if Caleb says so, then I should go with Caleb.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Use your skill.
Okay.
I'm confused. Is she actually that young, or is that part of the game?
Come, let us go sit over here.
Is that part of this?
I walked away from
I don't know
this
how
one.
old I am.
Yeah.
2 gold on the table from each of you, so that's 6 gold in the full pot. Go ahead and make your roll, 3d6.
Ooh. What do you do? Take the best 2? What do you do?
No.
So everyone's, and then
Wait,
you can raise or end.
I'm going to try to use one of my own cards and try to replace one of the cards.
Hand check.
Ooh.
Frumpkin
Just
climbs up
jumping
into the
right in.
rafters with a view of the gentleman's cards.
19.
19.
Oh.
Okay.
Can I try and perceive this too?
Sure, make a perception check.
15, 18.
No, you do
No, I
not.
do not.
She's good.
All right. They all look at their hands. The younger one with the mustache kind of just keeps stroking the front of his face and goes, I'll raise 4. Well, you don't roll yet.
Oh, I
You have to raise
thought
first.
I was trying to cheat and replace one of my things.
Oh, you were? Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
so do I get to choose what it is or do I just roll again?
You just roll again.
Oh, okay. So I rolled it. It was shit. Okay.
So he goes, raising to an additional 2 gold pieces.
I would like to start looking at their cards through Frumpkin's eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely raising 2. From your 2, I'm going to add in another 3, so 5 extra on the table.
Okay.
Get ready to use your wire.
Okay. I'm pulling out my thin bit of wire and I'm getting ready to cast message.
We just can't have a fucking peaceful drink, can we? We just gotta get right in the shit. Okay.
I know. All right. They meet your raise. That's now 15. That's 21 gold, I believe, on the table. So you all get to draw another card. So re-roll one more. The older one.
Done.
Folds?
No, he stays.
Stays. Okay. The younger one.
Perception check.
Oh.
It's 21.
21. Yeah, you can see.
I'll cover my ears so I don't know.
You're about to know when I whisper it to you.
What? Oh, okay, never mind.
The younger one has a crap hand, and he's trying to bluff, and he's already sweating a bit. The older one is looking really good.
Yeah, okay, so tell our friend that Mr. Mustache is sitting pretty and the young boy has Scheiße.
Well, the mustache is the younger one. The older one is.
Reverse it.
Reverse that order. And also, I would like the curly fries.
I point to her and whisper in my bit of copper wire and do a little hand gesture and say all of that to her. The young one's bluffing. The old one's got a sick hand. He's gonna burn you good.
I'm going to sleight of hand try to replace one of my cards again.
Jesus. In one game.
All right. So, go attempt it again. Go ahead and roll a deception. Or sorry, sleight of hand.
Oh god.
It's just so honed in on
Players
this.
at the table.
Nope.
16?
All right. So as the young guy is kind of sweating a bit, and you watch as he gets more nervous, he just continues to stroke his little caterpillar mustache quicker and then in smaller bits. The older guy, who seems to be playing rather spacey the whole time, suddenly zooms in on your hands and goes,
I do say, I think we're being had.
What? By who?
he goes ahead and leans forward and pulls one of the cards that you had slipped into your sleeve out onto the table.
Oh. Oh, that's weird. Where did that come from? I shouldn't wear such loose sleeves, you guys. That was really obvious.
The old guy stands up and leans forward. You can see he has this kind of bloodshot corners where a little bit of the whites show for his like deep brown irises. The smell of alcohol and dirt just kind of wafts off him as he leans forward.
I will not report you for cheating, but we will be taking the rest of the pot.
Wait, cheating, what are you talking about?
He just takes the coins and scoops it
Wait,
back.
I thought that was part of the game, is it not?
They get up and leave.
Motherfuckers, they took my money.
Did you win?
Yes, not. I won real good.
I knew you would.
I only lost 7 gold. That was a lot of fun, you guys. That was a good trick with the messages.
It didn't seem to help very much, though.
No, but it would have if I would have succeeded in these. Gosh, I really need to get tighter sleeves, though.
Yes.
Yeah, but that had potential.
Molly, you have to teach me how to do that better, okay?
She wants to play again right now.
What?
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 I said you want to play again, don't you?
So bad.
Yeah, Laura's dying on the inside.
Should we follow them outside and kill them?
Ooh, no, probably
That
not.
doesn't seem very nice.
Why don't instead we have something to drink and eat?
I agree with you 100%.
You know what else we should do?
Follow them outside and rob them.
Molly, come on right now.
Did we get rooms?
We did get rooms.
Yay, are we roommates?
Roomies!
Food has arrived, drinks have been provided. You guys are able to use your meal and figure out who you want to talk to, what you want to do, your business.
We should look for Claudia.
We were told that there was Claudia Sheet here. Sheedy. Ali Sheedy is here.
Yes.
Sheed or
Birds of a
Sheen?
feather man.
Sheed.
Charlie
Indeed.
Sheed.
Oh no.
Only I get to say sheet, you have to say sheed.
Sheed.
Wow.
She's probably the elven woman working at the bar,
maybe.
since we were told she works here,
Oh,
right?
that's true.
Claudia Sheed.
Yeah.
Claudia Sheed.
Let's ask about
Claudia Sheed.
Yeah, go get her.
Are you
Molly.
just gonna
say
go
it real
over
quick.
Go get her.
Claudia?
As you're shouting this out, like, some people start looking over. Kind of curious as this very ostentatiously dressed tieflings start shouting, essentially the owner of the tavern out in the center of the tavern. No one seems to make any physical action towards it. However, Wessick kind of points over towards you and goes, she took some time off. She's up in her office. Sorry.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Ooh, our office.
That was very effective.
Got an office.
I've normally find just shouting people's names really loudly tends to bring them to your table.
Right. Wonder where her office is.
You could ask.
We could look. Have we had food and drink yet?
Yeah, you guys have
Haven't
eaten.
done
Okay.
And now you're in the process. You don't have to roleplay every meal.
Not like Grover style. Has to roleplay every meal.
What time of the evening do I know it to be?
At this point, it's probably pushing closer to 10 o'clock.
Yeah, okay.
The sun's been set for a couple hours.
Yeah, it's late.
2-3 hours.
It's not that late.
Anybody feel like going up and giving old Claudia a door rap at her office?
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere
I
else
know, right?
for a second.
No.
Well, I'm interested either way, so I'm going to stand up and start heading upstairs and
Yeah,
trying
I'm
to find.
bored. Let's go.
Come, unpleasant one. Let's go.
All right. Obnoxious one. I'm with you.
All right, so there's a brief spiral staircase towards the far back that leads to a landing and then the second floor, which from the outside you could see there were 3 floors to it. So this probably progresses, or there's another staircase further down the hallway. But in the landing up there's a single doorway that is currently closed. It has no name on it, but it stands alone from the rest of it and seems to be in the direction as to where Wessick was pointing.
I'm just going to look for what looks like an office, for whatever door seems most inconvenient.
At a quick glance, the one in the landing.
One on the landing it is.
What the fuck was that?
Wow. Y'all.
We've been hanging out far too long, guys. This is a problem. Right. There's a moment. Yes, who is it?
Friends from out of town.
More information, please.
Bryce sent us.
Bryce who?
Bryce from
not
Allfield.
there.
Yes, I am. We went up there. I thought we all went.
Grounds guard, Bryce.
from Allfield.
All right, just a moment, please.
About 30 or so seconds pass, and the door opens, and the same elven woman you saw leave from behind the bar earlier. However, the disheveled appearance you saw earlier is gone. Is pristine, clean. The hair is immaculately combed and pulled up into like a high bun. Wearing what looks to be kind of a deep maroon, almost a silk robe that is just pulled over, arms are crossed.
I was desanitizing you.
Oh, fair enough.
So you are friends of Bryce?
We have come from very far to take a look here. Converse.
Right?
Well, they are a very good friend, and if you are friends of them, then you are friends of mine. I ask you to enter for the time being, and perhaps we can get to know each other, I suppose, if you have business. Enter, please. She turns and whips around and heads back inside. In this office, it's a simple office. When you consider, most of the offices you've encountered have been in some level of empire, clerical work, and or in various institutions. This is mainly just a desk with a chair, some books and ledger information, some scattered papers, ink and quill, a few books on the side. Other than that, it's just pretty barren and simple. There is a window in the back that has a cross beam kind of bisecting it into 4 squares, where it's just pitch black outside because the rest of it is just an alley below. Anyway, she turns around and sits in the chair and comes back, kind of crosses her hands in front of her with her elbows on the edge of the table. All right, so you have my attention. Why, what can I do for you?
Well, to wrap it up a bit, we've just recently gotten to town. We're looking for employment. All jobs we were recommended to use to be the person to talk to about what's actually going on in the city. We're new to the city. We're not necessarily, we don't necessarily have our thumb on the pulse of what's going on, so to speak.
So if you're here to looking for work, well, for one, if you are in need of paying work, and I always have dishes to wash, but at a quick glance at how you are presented as a little more capable individuals, at first glance, I would say that perhaps you have other skills. So I would...
Bo, I do like the dude at a bar thing and kind of
Make the
push up
arms
my
look bigger.
biceps.
So, if you are better with a blade or information, then checking at the King's Hall board might be a solid bet for you.
We just figured we would make sure that you're aware that we were here. We don't want to ruffle any feathers, and we don't necessarily know who the right people, the wrong people to work for, so to speak.
Every person you meet is the right and the wrong person, depending on where you're coming from.
That's very fair.
I guess I would ask what for you is the wrong type of people.
Shitty people.
Yeah, we'd like to avoid entanglements with the law. We're being so new and all.
Right. Then perhaps do not punch any crown guard, and I think it'll be okay.
Seems we're pretty.
That sounds easy, except it's really not.
I mean, it does seem like Crown's Guard tends to be assholes.
It's deeply punchable.
Have you ever had any issues with the Crown's Guard? I've heard rumors.
Individuals, yes. And there's like a brief moment where she looks kind of wistfully into the distance. I've had my encounters. Not so much with Crown's Guard, but with other figures.
Do we need to kick someone's ass for you?
Oh, I've already made sure their ass has been thoroughly kicked.
Well, maybe it might be wise to ask any particular groups to avoid while we're here.
She crosses her arms for a second.
Interesting point. Where are you from? Who do you live? Have you always lived in the Empire?
No, I'm from You're from Porto Mole.
Porto Mole,
I'm
right.
from Nicodranes.
All right, so from the Menagerie Coasts, you are in for a treat of a comparably colorful at times, but probably less jovial atmosphere in places. You know about the religious control, correct?
We're slightly aware.
Vaguely.
They
Wait, what?
frown.
Yeah.
Well, they frown on.
Grace of the Platinum Dragon.
There are, for well over a century now, the worship of various deities in the Empire has been controlled. And there are shrines throughout the city. Most cities contain a shrine of some kind to the approved worships, but I just want to ensure that if you do not fall in this realm, you do not go flashing it about, because that will get you very easily put into the Umber Dungeon, and that is not the place you want to be.
Where are these shrines that you're talking about?
Well, they're scattered about. For instance, there is the Allhammer. Their shrine is, let me think for a second as I consult my notes.
Yeah. I'm getting the good shit right now.
Umber Dungeon?
The Umber Dungeon. There is the Hearth of the Allhammer that is existing in the Penta Market.
Ooh, we were just there.
It was very nice.
It's look for the domed iron structure. It's maybe a bit rusty, not in best upkeep, but it's hard to miss the interior with a very heavy, beautiful anvil for both crafts work of those that maintain the position. I mean, what else do you want to know about? There's the Raven's Den, which is in the center of the graveyard.
That's good too.
The ossuary gates is the multi-layered catacomb graveyard, and the Raven's Den exists in the center area of that field.
Do the shrines usually have a lot of people in them?
Midday, and depending on which places of worship they are, yes. But there are heralds that run each shrine that are they work for the Empire, and they hold all ceremonies. They give counsel to anybody who requires it. It's all pretty much within the government structure, yes.
Are there any particular groups of people that are responsible for unsavory business in the city? Any identifying clothing or memorabilia they might have on them?
Not visibly, no. There are many people that work underneath the law here, but they are careful enough if they wish to continue business to not show it. I mean, what are you looking for? Are you looking for that kind of work?
No, just perhaps to keep an eye out for, in case we sought employment from the wrong type.
You know, tourists.
Right,
We
right.
have that tourist look.
Yeah, all but backpacks.
Speaking of tourists, look, how much of a problem would this be in general?
You should be fine. You should be fine.
Excellent.
I would, for the most part, those of various unique heritages have harder times at the farther eastern areas around the garrisons. Those that have to keep the creatures of Jorhas at bay, and possibly historians that believe that this is the curse of Gordranas. But you know, for the most part, nobody studies history and just consider you either unique looking or will avoid you regardless.
Wait, no one studies history. Really? Do you not have a good public school system or something? I was just curious.
Well, if you want to go study history, and that'll be over here, in the Innerstead Sprawl, we do have the Apple Tree Tutor Village. That is 3 long buildings owned and provided by the Solstice Academy for basic learning to children and adults of the less affluent lifestyle for a moderate price. It is
private school.
It's more. If you're looking for a comparison here, it would be upper end public school, if anything.
Yeah, charters, magnet programs.
Sure, we'll put it at charter.
Lotteries are a bitch.
Yeah.
But controlled by the Solstice Academy.
All controlled by the Solstice.
Yes.
Okay.
But the head tutor there is a overworked and relatively stressed out individual.
Head tutor, you said.
Yes. Mikhail Drom.
Mikhail Drum.
Yes, a very nice fellow. Eager to help, but the system has been difficult for him.
Is there a shrine to the dragon as well?
There is the Platinum House. You can find that. That would also be in the Innerstead Sprawl. Just look for the beautiful white building with deep blue tapestries on the outside. Reflective mirror like during the day. It's almost a beacon for everything to shield your eyes. Meditation, worship. It's all available within there. Sermons usually around noon.
So you mentioned all the sanctioned shrines. Are there any unsanctioned shrines?
Anything that isn't Platinum Dragon, Raven Queen, Allhammer, Dawnfather, Lawbearer, and Annoying Mistress.
So 6. That's
There are
it.
6.
Okay. 6 approved gods.
Yeah, all of those guys. I of course we knew about those guys.
Jester, now that doesn't seem to cover who you're looking for, though.
Oh well, you know. And
Look, I don't judge. If you worship what you want, you can. Just be careful about it.
Okay.
Don't tell anyone.
Stay on the Anger Stray.
Okay. I won't tell anyone.
Not even.
He's gonna tell everyone.
What else can I do to help you? Anything else you want to know? I mean, I've been living here most of my life, so.
Job postings, anywhere we might go to,
Other than the...
Well, we have the King's Hold board, yo. That's where the job postings are.
Yes.
Going.
And King's Hall is a good resource. If you really hit up hard and you want to try the route that Bryce did, you can always sign up to become a member of the military.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. No.
It works well for some people. It pays. You train. The Righteous brand is very helpful and helps keep the Empire safe from the terrors that wander in and beyond the borders. So.
We're also always big fans of underbellies, especially if there's an underbelly with a heart of gold.
Especially one if it's furry and you can pet it.
Well,
best of
there
the
are plenty
unscrupulous.
of underbellies, but they are localized, scattered, and very protective. Keep your ears open. Ask the right questions.
If there are names that if we hear that we should trust.
I don't trust anybody. That's how I'm still alive, and that's how I came to own this tavern.
Yeah, it's a great corner office, by the way. You have a window.
Thank you.
That's great. That's
Looks-
great.
I had to change it a bit. The man I took it all from wanted him to leave nothing behind.
Was he perchance named the Gentleman?
There's a quick glance in your direction. Her expression darkens and goes, "No, but I would be very careful how you use that name."
Oh shit.
Really now?
Do you know him?
I do not know him, but I know of him. And the thing I said about trying not to get in trouble with the darker elements of the city that might be in over your head, that is very specifically one who wallows in that mire.
Okay.
He wallows in the underbelly shit? Is that what you said? That's me asking. That's me asking DM.
Yes, basically. Wallows in the mire of the underbelly shit. Sounds like a fun lyric. Wallows in the mire of the underbelly shit.
The underbelly shit.
That's the second verse.
There we are.
Of the...
The Ruby of the Sea.
Well, thank you for your time. I think we'll find our way back down to the belly of this tavern.
Very well. I will walk you down.
Sorry.
Yes.
I want to touch on something happening. I'm not there. We're not there.
Oh, right.
So I want to touch on something that's happening at the same time, but I will wait till you think it's a good moment.
Sure, we can do that now while they're exiting the office. While they've been in there.
Yeah, so Nod and Caleb didn't go up. So they're busy. Would you like to learn something interesting?
Magic trick?
That sort of.
Yes.
It's a little homework and a little bit magic trick. So this is where I keep my spells. This is my book. And this is the piece of luck that you helped me achieve in Trostenwald. So over the months and years, I gather the amount of magic tricks that I can do. So in this book, for instance, there is a new spell that I do not even know how to use myself, where I can make an invisible sort of helper. And what is going to happen now, I bought supplies for it, and I find a booth for us in the corner, is I'm going to move it from here into here, and I thought you could help me. Would you like to do that?
Yes.
Okay, so you can see.
Photocopying.
I don't know what that means, but this will take a little while. Here, hold this and hand a quill to her. Hold that. Okay, so you can see the markings on this page. It's intricate, but you can do the first few strokes. It needs to look like that. It needs to go here. And I guide her hand a little bit to make sure that it doesn't smudge too much. It's still workable. Good. Now I will fill in the details, right? And I spend the next, they're probably gone for 15 minutes, just putting down just the glyphs and the markings. Yeah. And begin the first 30 minutes of the 2 hours I need to spend
All right.
copying this. Yeah.
Too much.
Fair enough.
I'll need to be plied with many drinks to have.
Oh yeah,
to
I'm
keep
just
going.
sliding them over.
How's my
Easy.
penmanship?
So far, so good. We'll see how it progresses. All right. So as you guys exit the office, at the bottom of the stair, you can see that group that was kind of gathering earlier with the young girl that was looking out towards the entryway. Is there kind of waiting at the base of the stair?
Bachelorette party?
Yeah, the bachelorette party, if you will. Though it was a mixed group.
Sure.
And as soon as you exit with Claudia, they notice you, and all kind of like step back for a moment and wait. And as you step down the stairs, a young half-elf girl you could see who freckled, kind of auburn hair, a bit of a smudged face of a hard day's work, kind of leans forward and goes, "Terribly sorry, Claudia. Are we good to use the cellar for the meeting?" He goes, "Yes, of course. It is available to you right now. Not a problem." She goes, "All right, thank you very much." And she turns around and begins gathering up the crew, and you can see a few of the people at the bar. She's kind of slowly gathering folk until there's a cluster of about 20 or so, and they all begin making their way towards where the kitchen is, into like a pantry area.
Are they going to have an orgy?
You'd have to follow to find out.
I'm asking that of Claudia.
Oh.
Out loud.
She goes,
Super quiet.
"No, not so much. They are passionate political debaters."
Oh.
Are you helping run some like underground clubs
Just right out in the open, huh? Just asking
in
it.
your cellar?
Yep.
No, I am merely providing a space for people that are wanting to work through some difficulties they have with their lifestyle. That
I'm
is all.
running to find Caleb.
Yeah, and then it's like lattice work. You have to do the smaller
Nobody's going down
circle
to the cellar?
inside the larger.
You have to do this with every spell.
Well, each one's a little bit different, but it's
It's not.
very.
We're
Okay.
busy here,
We're
please.
really right in the middle of
That's all right. We just need your cat.
I trail forward. I want to know.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And as we're heading down, I lean over to
Frumpkin
Bo.
climbs up and hit Molly's back.
Yep. I'm tossing Frumpkin in the direction of that.
What are you doing with my cat?
In the basement. In the basement.
Oh, you have to look through.
Yeah, you won't be able to see it.
Yeah, we're going. We're the two of us going.
Go to the base. Look, so the circle goes inside the larger circle.
What is the AE?
I lean
That's
over to
one
Bo and I say,
letter.
I don't know
What
if
is
you're
that?
aware, but when you compliment people,
just
it
kind of-
sounds like a fucking insult. Is that intentional?
Oh.
It was just an
What?
observation, like commenting on the office window. Like, you gotta put more like smile.
Oh, but that
on
was
it.
badass.
I know.
She had like a cool fucking office, I guess.
It didn't quite sound that
Oh,
way.
no?
Yeah, just something to maybe
Oh,
like
okay,
put in
hang
your
on.
hat. Yeah.
You know, maybe we pick this up later.
Can I try with you?
Yeah, go for it.
I've just mastered the F that looks like an S.
You're
It's
really
very nice.
attractive.
Yeah, so let's start with maybe like a little smile on the face. You know, it's always a good starting point. Try again.
You're really attractive.
Oh man, you look constipated.
No,
you know,
is that worse somehow?
What if you did like, you ever winked at anybody?
You're really attractive.
We'll keep working.
No,
You're
that still
okay.
wasn't
Yeah,
it?
No,
Fuck.
it's okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
At least thanks for like telling me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Just to be aware of.
most people would just be like, "You're a bitch," and then would leave. You know,
I've been around
so.
you long enough that I could
Yeah.
tell you were actually trying to be nice.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
thanks,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Thanks. I think you're real nice too.
As you guys,
Yeah.
at this point, have,
Genuine. I was being
No, I got it.
genuine.
Yeah, I was there.
all right. So the two of you guys have
Wrapped up for the time.
wrapped up for the time being.
I just wanted to borrow some parchment. Do you have any extra pieces of paper, though?
How much do you need for
I don't
what?
know, like 20 pieces.
Do you need to write a long letter?
Like a really long one.
I'll give you 2.
I can make do with that, yes, thank you.
I hand them over.
You need to know what your cat's seeing. What's the cat seeing?
Hold on.
Okay, I got you.
I got you too.
The cat who's been following Ford and Beauregard, you guys have been having this conversation as you follow through down to the cellar, and as you descend down the cellar stairs, you can hear what sounds like conversation and a few voices passing. One, they all get quiet, and as you step and descend just past where the ceiling of the basement reveals you, you can see the group of 20 folks are all gathered around with a central podium and looks to be an elevated step or a box, if you will. And they're all just looking at you. Quiet. The one who's standing on the box you can see looks to be human man, probably in his early 60s or so. Shorter hair, graying, but a little unkempt in the face. He's got like smaller spectacles at the edge of his nose, and what looks to be kind of a unshaved stubble against his chin. But he's dressed in a nice white shirt, tucked in well, and looks kind of thin and well-mannered. And he kind of just puts his hand up and goes, hey there, can we help you?
There's a bunch of people staring at Fjord and Beauregard. Why are we doing this?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Apologies. We don't mean to intrude. We're new to the city. We just heard that some higher thinkers were going to be meeting down here. We hope we might be able to join you.
Just looking for a good conversation.
They're making asses of themselves, aren't they?
Everyone kind of looks at each other, and you see there's kind of an ordinary dwarf fella who kind of looks over to the guy on the top and kind of shakes his head, and the half-elfin girl who you saw earlier, who was kind of gathering the group, kind of gives a nudge towards you with a smile and says, "You can at least ask." And you go, "All right, well, step on up, step on up." The crowd kind of separates a little bit as you guys approach. I'm curious. How? Share with me briefly the joys the Empire have brought to your life.
I think it's like Alcoholic Anonymous or something.
Well.
Be honest.
I'm afraid my list is not that long, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're a bit skeptical. We're looking for support, just like any other wayward souls in this crazy town, and
we seek knowledge.
And we want to be able to trust our empire, but maybe we need some reassurance in one way or another.
Make a persuasion check with advantage with his help.
Wow. Persuasion with advantage.
Yes, because
That's good.
Need the help
Oh,
back.
I got a natural 18 with a 1 plus 1, so
killing it.
19.
Shut up.
Speaking real vague.
well, you seem to be on the level. We are a group called the Knights of Requital, and we are discussing methods of changing the current political unhappiness in the city of Zadash and beyond. So.
Wow, yeah. Okay. See, we're not the only ones. We just, felt like something's been missing.
Tearing at our heart. Yeah.
It's our empire. Just.
It's an ache.
Very well. I will continue with my talk then, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please.
Preach on.
Does that name mean anything to Caleb?
No. Okay. No. Looking around the room, most of the folks in here look to be, salt of the earth folk of the city. A few folks look to be a little more wealthy, lower middle class, if you were to give any sort of comparison there. And they all look like they're a bit riled up. And the dwarf who had kind of eyed you up previously, you could see his eyes have kind of these heavy bags under them. He's got this kind of scraggly, unkept brown beard and very, very short, almost buzz-cut hair on top as she's just kind of glaring at the two of you. He steps away from the crowd and just keeps a very close eye. The gentleman at the top. First off, to our new conversationalists, I am Dolan Thrime. As many of you know here, I once ran a very successful physician practice here in the Interstead Sprawl. One that my partner was the head physician. Well, he was unfortunately brought to an unearned level of shame and his practice ruined, as well as our industry, by the House of Sutan. Not but a year ago. We went from a comfortable living helping people to a life of squalor and shame. And I know we're not the only one. As now, the son of the House of Sutan, Ren, sits at the top of that practice, took all of our clients and squeezes them for all they're worth. And I, for one, am sick of it. And everybody else in the group just kind of goes, huh. I am sick of it. And we can't sit back and let nothing be done about it. Now, if you'd like to take the floor, Ulok. And the dwarf who was watching you guys doesn't leave you for a moment before he kind of steps over and the crowd separates and he steps up onto the small block, which at his height puts him about head level with most of the crowd. Now, as many as you know, I was a word worker for many years, carving wood, did good carpentry. My wife, Eliana, she's a good wife. About 6 months ago, she was out late at night picking up just food for the night for the two of us in the Banter market. She was in the wrong place at the wrong time. There were some street bandits outside of the Tri-Spires. They had stabbed someone who were running. Ran clean into my wife, just as the Crown's Guard descended. She got looped in with them, thrown in jail. Went and fought. It wasn't even a bit of a trial. The High Richter sent us straight to the Amber Dungeon. Sent us there for 20 years for this business. It's been 6 months and I can't even see her. I'm sick of it. I think it's time we did something. Everyone in the crowd goes, ugh. And as this continues, one after another, individuals start coming up and talking about resharing stories for the newcomers. Things that have come up recently that frustrate them. They begin throwing things around like instability within the Starostas of capable hands to maintain a political structure in a city this large. They begin to talk on anger and frustration with the lack of proper education for the masses, keeping them unable to climb status and make and eke out a living, and thus are forced into the military to die out in the fields of Xhorhas. There have been discussions about frustration dealing with the ever-creeping power scale of what's called the Cerberus Assembly, and influence that stretches from Rexentrum into the city itself. And eventually it begins to rise into this kind of many voices clamoring out in frustration. And once again, Dolan, the softer gentleman at the beginning who began it, puts his hands up and steps back up and goes, I know. But we're going to find a way. I have friends that I've made, people that we're talking to, and we have, hopefully, a new beginning soon. An opportunity where I think we can have a voice in the politics here. I hope to have more for you soon. In the meantime, just try and keep your chin up. I know it's hard now, but I believe we have an opportunity soon. Thank you to Kara, who's been helping set these meetings up, and points over to the younger half-elf earlier, and she kind of nods and a few hands clap, and to our new members, sorry I didn't get your names.
Bo.
Ford.
Yeah.
Bo and Ford, thank you for joining us tonight. And it goes without saying, please, if you don't mind, we prefer to keep these conversations personal for obvious reasons.
Absolutely.
You know, and even the most misunderstood discontent leads to unfortunate circumstances.
We understand. Thank you for sharing with us.
I know I, for one, have had my discontent with the Empire, so it's good to hear we're not alone.
Of course. Knights of Requital, I appreciate your time. Rest well. We'll meet soon. Dismissed. And everyone kind of begins to scatter and make their way back up into the tavern.
We kind of stay down.
Yeah. I want to wait behind, maybe talk to Dolan.
Yeah. Really appreciate what you said.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah.
I understand that you aren't from around here, so don't feel that you have to take too much of this to heart. But best that we can do to try and keep spirits up, and I believe we can find a way to make and exact some change real soon.
Well, it struck a chord. It mirrors a lot of what we've seen since we've been here. Do you meet very often? I'd love to come back.
Well, we're scheduled to meet here in probably the next 2 days or so. We're gearing up for a couple of important events.
How often are the meetings that heated? That seem pretty intense.
Yeah, personal, emotional.
It can vary. Anyway, I'm sorry. I really should be going.
Yeah. Whereabouts in town do you live?
Oh, I live outside of the Apple Tree Tutors.
Oh. All right. Well, we'll probably be staying here the next few days, so,
Yeah, we'll check in with, what was her name?
With, Claudia?
Yeah, we'll check in with Claudia if there's any other meetings again.
All right.
Appreciate you being so open.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being respectful and close to your chest. Anyway, he steps past the two of you, kind of puts the rest of his jacket on and exits, and now it's just the two of you there in kind of the cellar below.
What's in the cellar?
Yeah.
You glance about.
You're gonna rob the place now?
Well, I just want to know: is it munitions? Is it meat?
Yeah.
Is it booze?
Wine? Is it good wine?
There are large casks, large like wooden barrels and casks. It looks like this is where kind of major ale storage is set, but none of them are tapped. It looks to be a couple of crates that are still sealed, unopened.
Any good wines that I would recognize?
None of the wines are kept in this cellar.
Okay.
By the size of the place, you get the sense there's probably more than one storage places here.
Right.
When you scroll your cursor over it, though, the descriptions are all in red. So.
Right, yes.
Yeah, oh, yeah, sure. Can't access that.
Talk about an underbelly. That was more than I was expecting.
Yeah, no, and I totally called Claudia on it, too, and she didn't, come forward. I'm like, you're running some shit.
Yeah,
She's running some shit.
Right up front.
Did you notice he said, thanks for keeping things close to your chest? Are we that transparent?
No. I mean, I would say the same thing if I was taking such a chance with people I didn't know, right? I think he's just trying to invest in us a little.
Right.
Seemed nice.
Right.
I tell Frumpkin to yowl between their legs.
Oh,
I give Frumpkin the finger, hoping Caleb will see.
I don't see it. I'm not.
maybe
Now I'm just flicking off a
You gave us
cat.
the basics.
That's cool.
Maybe
You
we
gave
should
us
go
the
back
basics.
up. All right, let's go back
Yeah,
up.
that's good.
I was spending my time cutting the parchment up into even little rectangles so I could make them into multiple pieces of paper.
Ah, easy enough to do.
We go back.
Okay. So as you guys head up into the tavern to meet up with the rest of your troop, you can see they're all sitting around handling the other business. What are you guys up to?
I've been just, we were listening to the description of this insanity.
Yeah.
I bumped out of that probably 2 minutes before it finished, so I didn't get the tail end, but I got the meat.
You got the meat of it. And you've watched the people that were in the meeting leave in small groups. They're kind of pacing their exit.
It was a huge orgy. Just naked parts everywhere.
Missed
I
it.
figured it wasn't. Caleb was lying to us the
I
whole
know.
time.
Maple syrup. They had little Tic Tacs and
Did
all
you guys
sorts of chocolate chips. Lollipops galore.
Usually in orgies like that, they don't let you stay unless you're a part of it.
He's
No,
not
no,
sticky
no.
with maple syrup, he's lying.
Tongue bath.
Oh, nice.
I think what we should do is take the names and descriptions of all of those people and turn them into the authorities for 50 gold a person. We could make so much money, and be heroes in this town as well,
But
just
you
like
know-
we were in the last.
Maybe not that, but quite frankly, those people are reckless.
Yeah.
Telling you what they told you.
It is, and the only problem with that would be that we were in that meeting as well, so, you know.
As spies.
Except that they told them the real names.
Yeah.
Also,
And where they're
The
staying.
authorities
Never
don't
use your middle name.
delineate between
wondering about
the real McCoy and passers-by, just
Yeah.
like that man's story, the
Groups of
dwarf.
people are always idiots. Never trust a group of people. I specifically used to gather people into groups to make them into idiots. It's just what you do.
yeah,
you don't.
but you
Did that to
also
us.
It was exactly what I did. It's how I met you. It's why I keep you around.
you also traveled with a group of people.
Which is what we're
Yes,
doing
but we
now.
weren't a group of people. We all hated each
It's a
other.
smaller group.
It's a pretty big group. There's
You
9
know
of
so
us.
often his logic falls apart?
You just told them your real name.
No, I told him I'm Bo.
You left out the regard part, and
did.
you mispronounced your name Ford when we all know it's Fjord.
That's right, yeah.
Clever.
Yeah, there's a lot of people named Bo.
Are
Right?
there? I've never
Haven't
met
met
any.
anyone.
Only one other
These
person
two.
named
I
Bo.
literally
That
only
guy
met one other
named
person named Bo.
Bo.
Yeah,
It's a
just
good
one.
nickname.
Just one.
Bilbo,
Right.
Beauregard.
And I think
Yeah.
his name was not the same Bo as your Bo.
It was a different Bo.
It was a different Bo. I'm going to start folding my little pieces of paper into little trifolds.
Alrighty. What else are you guys doing?
I think we're probably good to retire.
You know, I'm going to turn in. I have a little bit more homework to do before the end of the night. Good night. Thank you. Good night.
I am eventually falling asleep, but before that, I'm gonna go take a fucking bath. There's a bathhouse. I'm going there. Anyone who wants to come with me is welcome to do
I
so.
want a bath so bad, but it's so late, Molly.
It's just a walk.
Is it even going to be open at night?
Is it gonna be open at night?
You can go and try and find out.
I can go and try and find out. I'm gonna go and try and find out.
Okay, I have important work.
I'll
to do.
accompany you just to make sure you don't get killed.
I'll come with you too because I really want a bath.
I guess I stay behind with Ford. We talk about the crazy shit we just heard.
Yeah, because we're fucking
Oh,
spies.
fuck yeah, man! Break the system! Put it in the ground!
Folded like this.
Fuck the man.
Fuck the man!
Alrighty.
I'm much happier with my company.
Right, now the two of you make an investigation check.
3.
Oh, you should come in a well. That's right.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, that was bad. It's because I'm
That's
folding
better.
paper.
17. I'm specifically
13.
looking for stores.
4.
alrighty. You do manage to discover the location of what was it? This Steam's Respite, but it is closed for the night. It is too late for its functionality.
Damn it.
On the way
we know
to
where it is
pass Pack-Aware Provisions or any of the other fine establishments you've told us about?
And if you're wandering through the Penta Market, which you can go roundabout to do that.
That's not on the way, though.
No. Just on the way.
On the way from where you were exiting there, none of those. No, those are all. The Penta Market is pretty much like this clustered center
Are
of.
there any shops at all, or is it just...
You would have come across probably more small food establishments, like small dumpling establishments. Like nothing too crazy. It looks like most of the stores there on the outskirts would be simple glassware, the occasional basic blacksmiths for putting horseshoes on and construction of that. Simple armor repairs for whoever needs it.
Nothing fun.
Nothing crazy. Most of the good stuff is in the vicinity you've already been.
You know, I notice the way that you eye things on occasion.
I'm not stealing anything right now. so-
Well, not right now. That's fine. That's fine. And I would hate to get in the way of any of your business. Your business is your business, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But you know, it's good to remember that there are people who need what they have. There are people who need every bit of what they have, and there are people who would be much happier if they had a little less.
How do I know which is which?
Well, that's a skill worth developing. That's a skill very much worth developing.
If the people look like you and Caleb, they probably need it.
If they seem grumpy or angry and seem overly concerned with an enormous amount of money that they happen to have, or using it to just be mean or cruel to somebody. That's probably a sign that they'd just be much happier if they just knew exactly who liked them. And the only way you could ever really know if someone likes you is if you don't have anything over them. And the easiest way to get to that honesty is if you don't have anything.
So you're saying steal from grumpy people?
Oh, yes.
Shitty people specifically.
Unless they're grumpy because they don't have enough. Because if you're hungry, you get very angry.
I do get really
You
mad.
get so angry when you're hungry.
No.
Which kind of grumpy is Bo?
Bo has way too much.
Oh.
So you should probably take some stuff from Bo.
All right.
That's fair. Bo really needs to know who likes her.
Oh, no, it's grumpy.
Oh, no. It makes sense when you're in that shirt.
Makes sense when you're over 30. All right.
That's some sports marketing campaign.
Yep.
Wow.
All right. So you guys find your way back. What about the rest of you guys? Anything?
I am just finishing up the spell Unseen Servant before I go to bed so that
Easily
I will
enough.
in the
And
morning.
you have it copied over without issue.
Yes.
I'm so sorry about a long rest.
All right.
Before I go to sleep, I'm going to use my little folded papers and make little pamphlets to the traveler. So it's going to be like, have you heard of our Lord and Savior?
You're gonna get us.
He sure is the coolest. Everyone should worship him. He's the best guy around.
Okay.
You're making your
But they're
religion
little-
Tijuana
they're-
Bibles. You're
they're
making
mini.
Tijuana Bibles for your
I love them
religion.
so much.
Is there going to be nudity and sex in these? Because then it's basically a
They're
Tijuana
gonna,
Bible.
like, yes, they're going to have all
Don't
sorts
Google
of
Tijuana
beautiful.
Bible.
Like Pink Mermaid
They're
meets
really,
the White
they're like
Rose.
this little.
I know. I don't know
I
how
have
to
to
make
make
it
them out
soft.
of only two.
How many
sheets
did you
of-
make?
Well, however many I could make out of two sheets of
pieces of
parchment.
paper.
So
Of that
probably
size, you could probably.
like 8 or like maybe 10.
We'll say 10 and a few that didn't quite. You got halfway
Get
through and were like,
finished. Yeah, fuck
tore it up. Okay, cool. All right. So the rest of you guys, you're all resting for the evening? All right. Night rest comes without issue. You awake the morning to the sound of an already kind of muttering tavern floor below you, the smell of food and whatever dried ale's been spilled into the room that you're currently sleeping in. But the day is yours. The morning has arrived. You are welcome to do what you wish.
Molly, do you need to pray over your swords? I don't know how
Oh, I
often.
did before you woke up.
Oh. Well, next time, could you include me in it? I don't know if maybe it would help me with my skills.
Sure.
Yeah.
Happily.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, actually, no problem.
Morning, Jester.
Oh, you know what we need to do today?
What?
We need to go to the pillow place and go get some money from my mom.
You're okay.
How
Yeah.
do you get money
Yeah,
from your
let's-
mom?
You're not with us in our room right
Are you,
now.
Oh, you did come
Okay.
downstairs? Okay.
Are you
Even Tom.
How does he do that?
how do you know? How do you know it's gonna be there?
Okay.
Because I asked her for it.
Okay, but asking isn't the same as confirmation of receiving.
Yes, but it's my mom, and of course she's going to send me money. You're crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go. Let's go. I'll go with you.
It's called the Pillow Trove. We need to go there, but we need to look very pretty. So before that, I'm going to see if Molly wants to go get a bath.
Okay. We have to look pretty.
Lovely.
Yes, we have to be fancy for that place.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Are you all
We also
going?
need to go to the blacksmith, you guys, as I'm
We
coming down the
do.
stairs. We have so many things to sell.
Blacksmith is filthy. We'll go there first.
Yeah.
Good call.
All right.
We stumble downstairs.
All righty. You get your food, your breakfast set. Let's see here. We'll say for the 2 meals and the drinks in the 3 rooms overnight. If you want to keep track of the tab, though you haven't paid it yet necessarily if you're staying for a while.
109.
Put you at,
Plus, we're good friends of Claudia's.
This is the DM.
I'll put you at the 3 rooms, food and drink at about 6 gold so far.
Okay, gotcha. 6 gold.
This isn't the nicer part of town.
So far. 1 gold each.
All right. So,
Is Claudia down in this room at the moment?
At the moment, no.
No, okay.
Looks like it is your Dragonborn friend, and it's there's maybe 6 people in the room.
How'd your homework go last night?
Very well. I am a step ahead of where I was yesterday.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
I walk over to this Dragonborn. Good morning to you.
Hi, good morning.
Sorry, I know you're busy preparing for the day.
That's all right.
I hear there is a rather large library here in the city. This is correct, yeah?
There's probably a few places with libraries. There's the archive.
That's the biggest one.
Yeah.
The main one.
There's also the Hall of Erudition. I'm pretty sure they got libraries as well.
Hall of Erudition.
Yeah. It's it's where the Solstice Academy is here.
Oh, good. Okay. The first place, though, could you point me in the direction of it from here?
Right. That would be let's see, right around. Make sure I get this correct for internal consistency. That would be in the Interstead Sprawl. Which is, it's kind of this, if you consider the city's kind of triangular shape, there's the pentagram market's kind of off center and a little bit to the west of it, and then there's the east and west outer steads, which are kind of the outside cusp and like the slums on the outside of the main wall. There's the Tri-Spire, which is up north. Then there's a section, a quadrant over here, that's the military section, and kind of this weird ring that surrounds and bisects them all around the Pentamarket. That's the Interstead Sprawl.
That's kind of the garrison area?
Yeah. Well, no, that's kind of the more like middle class central connecting part that kind of holds the rest of the city together.
Gotcha. Garrison's more east, you said.
Library is there.
The library is there.
And it's to the east, you're saying?
From where you are now, you guys are on the eastern outer steads. It would be western, and he goes, actually, hold on just a second. I'll get to your meal. Follow me. Yeah. And he kind of comes out from behind the bar and slaps it up and kind of puts the arm around your shoulder and kind of leads you right immediately outside to the front of the tavern, kind of pushing you along.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of shrink inward.
Yeah. You look over that rooftop there. You see that, and you can see what looks to be this kind of slowly tapering tower that then curves off at the very top to be what looks to be a very dome-like pinnacle. The stonework itself appears to be kind of like a smooth concrete-looking texture just from this distance, and the way the morning sun's hitting it, half of it is just bright and reflective. What looks to be a really intricate carving and various tiers along the tower as it descends. He goes, there's the archive. That's what you're looking for. So just look for that tower and keep it going.
Thank you.
No worries.
Also, asking the DM, not this Dragonborn, but you had mentioned the Chastity's Nook. Did you? And Caleb would remember if you said what area it's in.
Tri-Spires.
Tri-Spires. Thank you. Got it.
Get that smut, boy. Get that smut.
Sure. Did you say get that smut?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there any question? Making sure.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Very helpful.
No worries.
Okay. And he runs back and quickly gets. And you see there's like 2 people now waiting for him to get back, and he gets back to pouring drinks and getting food orders situated.
So we're going to the blacksmith, and then we're getting Molly a bath.
And
then,
me, and me, and me.
And you. And then are we looking for job postings? Like maybe some work?
You're welcome to take a look at the job postings if you don't want to take a bath, but I'd highly recommend a bath. Baths are great.
They really are.
Is it like a fancy thing?
Yes, very fancy.
Is it expensive?
Entirely depends what you think it's worth.
Are you doing this?
Blacksmith first, and we'll see. How about that?
fair enough.
Because we might make so much money from the blacksmith.
All right.
That is true.
What do you want to do today?
I want to steal something. I have the itch. It's back.
The syphilis.
All right.
Stream of syphilis.
All right.
We met in exposition. Just. Never mind.
Yeah, you
Never
check
mind.
you
Just
out.
throwing it out.
Give your
Never.
crotch
And
old
hold
once
a
over.
former doctor? Sign me up.
Wow.
You know, I'm sure we can facilitate that. Let's maybe keep it, manage our expectations and not go for the plumpest plum on the bush.
Don't worry, I'm only going for grumpy people today.
Amazing.
Okay.
That's so exciting.
This was an idea you had?
It was given to me by a wise weirdo.
Right. I'm not going to question it. I'm
First time I've
just...
been called. What? Actually, no, it's not the first time I've been called that. That's fair. It's not Molly. This is me. It's not the first time I've been called that.
Thank you. Okay.
As you guys are making your way through the East Outer Steads towards the Penta Market, you said you're going to the Blacksmith,
Yeah.
right? All right.
To the Sparkhammer Smithing.
All right.
That worked real well.
Yeah, it did.
She is the grumpy one.
All right.
Pencil on the DM's neck.
So as you're making your way there, one thing you do, you hear a voice that's kind of just loudly talking that crosses you guys as you're walking down the street. You can see what looks to be a younger man in his early 20s or so. His really thin, kind of blondish hair, and he's wearing what looks to be a tabard that is the same colors as the Crown's Guard. But other than that, normal clothing.
What's a tabard?
A tabard is a piece of cloth that kind of goes over the front and back.
Okay.
It's like when you see like knights with
Like
the
at medieval times.
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
There you go.
Like go for the Green Knight. Yeah, that.
But he's just shouting out. You get very quick instance. He's a town crier. And as you come into Zadash, you can see this is probably how a lot of the news is disseminated amongst the populace here.
Ooh, what's
So
he saying? What's he saying?
the you hear approaching, he says, "So Crown's Guard and the King's Grace! Attack on all field has ended! Terrible fiends responsible put to the sword by your Crown's Guard and the King's Grace!
We did that. That was us that we did that.
The attack on all..." And he just kind of repeats it as he continues down the street.
Oh man,
They stole our thunder.
But not our gold.
That's true.
Thank you.
Although, I mean, credit would help our, reputation.
yeah, we could be famous.
Seriously.
I mean, what do you
wanna be
expect
famous?
from the Crown's Guard, though?
Have you ever
Come
been
on.
famous?
No, I have no interest in becoming it. Thank you very
You
much.
have no idea the kind of stuff that is given to you when you're famous.
I have most everything I need already. Why would I need more
Any
stuff?
interest in chasing down that guy and seeing where the news is gathered? Maybe they could print a retraction.
Do you want me to go tell him he's got it wrong?
Some of you would
Or
care to be...
where it comes from.
Okay, I chase after him.
He's gonna think you're crazy.
Also, I'm sorry, some of you wish to be in the spotlight with the things that we do?
I chased after him already.
Okay. He's moved on to, looks like he's cycling through different pieces of news, and as you approach, he's shouting, he's like, "Families missing in Nogvarot! Crick kidnappers steal them away in the night! Lock and seal your windows and doors while you slumber! The attack on Allfield has ended! Terrible..." And you just approach him at that point as he's getting back to that cycle.
Excuse me, town crier man.
What? Yeah?
Excuse me. Where does your news come from?
From my boss?
Where is your boss located?
It's at the King's Hall.
Because your boss at the King's Hall has some of his news is wrong. Did you know that the attack on Allfield was defeated by a group called the Mighty Nein? They're this really amazing band of heroes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's really interesting.
It is. It's really cool because we were there and we saw it happen and it was really, really cool. And you should probably get your news
That sounds
right.
amazing. You should go tell that to the Herald of the Hall. He's probably the one who would care the most. Yeah.
Okay, because by the time, though, that we get there and then it gets back to you, you've probably been around town so much, and then you'll have to retract your article, and that would be really weird.
The attack on Allfield! And he just kind of quickly gets away from me, repeating the process over and over again.
Also, Ford walks right up behind Jester and says, "Come on, we need to get back with the others. Okay, this is not a good idea to put yourself out in the open. Let's go."
Ford,
Yes, that's me. I'm Ford. Come on.
what is this? Is this a new accent you're trying out?
It's very.
There was a cough drug stuck in the side of my mouth.
It's very Schwarzenegger.
Ford, you almost sound like Caleb.
This is deep Texan. I don't know.
Are you planning on sounding like Caleb now?
Listen, accents are not my strong suit. Will you just please stop talking to the town crier? Thank
Are
you.
you? Wait a minute.
I'm trying to drag her
What
back.
are
I
you
might
talking
need a
about?
strength check.
Accents are your strong suit. That is, you're really good at it, Ford.
You look like me.
Are you
trying to drag her
disguised
along?
right now?
Yeah, back towards the group.
Yeah, do you let him drag it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You're fine.
Wait, can I tell it's not actually him?
Probably.
I mean,
yeah.
can I tell it's not Ford?
It sounds about as good as I just did.
Yeah.
Caleb is not good at accents.
Before it does accents.
Yeah, but Ford does accents, that's the thing. That's what I mean.
Can I tell from like the physicality because like you do accents, so
That's interesting.
I am Fort Tough. Let's go.
Ford, you seem even weaker than you were before. Like, when you're pulling me along. This is weird.
This is everything.
But I don't smell bad. Now, come on. Let's go to the rest of the group.
Is it really you?
I pull her by the earlobe. Could we please go back to the rest?
Okay, don't just let go of my ear now, okay?
All right.
I'm sorry. Is this what we're going to be about? Is huge credit and get ourselves to be part of the news?
Hey, man, I was just doing what Ford told me to, okay? So don't you give me shit.
I am not giving you shit. I am putting a subject on the table for the group. I need to make an informed decision about what Not and I are doing.
I prefer to keep it on the down low personally.
Yeah, of course, and not to alarm you, I only meant that if we are going to be paid for our escapades, a reputation anonymously might help. If we belong to that name.
You want an anonymous reputation?
Oh my gosh. This is perfect. Because if we're called the Mighty Nein, people will expect it to be a different group of people.
Because we're just 6.
Yeah,
Curiosity.
that's actually brilliant.
It's a Miser's move.
We're disguised. We're hiding in plain sight.
As soon as you say that, across the way, you can see there's one kind of crotchety-looking dude with one eye who's like,
I'm gonna look right back at him.
and averts his gaze and keeps on walking.
I see the little hobbit.
There's something in my teeth.
Plus, what makes you assume we're about anything right now? I don't think we've made any decisions. I thought we were just having fun, right? Making good money?
I'm here for making money.
Are we
personally.
about anything?
No.
Yeah. Do you want to be about something?
I don't want to be about making a stink everywhere we
This
go.
is what happens after you go to meetings. Is suddenly you want to be about something. Be
That's
careful.
not true. Caleb, I'm sorry.
I didn't
if we-
say it, he did.
If we put you at unease, that was not our intention.
Well, it's not just me. I mean, you are vomiting salt water, and you are getting
I'd
into
forgotten
fistfights with people I don't know what you're doing, and you... Look at you.
Wait.
Look at you, there's always the worst. Look at you.
I'm well aware. This is entirely for the sake of my mirror. I'm very well aware.
We're the ones that you don't know what's going up with. You two take off every day, the two of you. Maybe you wouldn't know what we're up to if you went along with the group like once.
Go along with the group.
He always knows what we're up to because he has this cat follow us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, super personable.
I have fought a giant toad creature with you. I have fought a big lion thing with a woman's face.
I propose a plan.
You killed its baby.
I did. And I feel very bad about that. But he was gonna kill us,
I have a
so-
plan for this.
Yes,
I have a
Bob.
plan. We're going to take our scrap and we're going to sell it so that we have some money.
Yeah.
We're going to take the good feelings from that money and we're going to spend it on hot water and inappropriate friendly nudity.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a discussion about what we're doing with heat, steam, water, and a little bit of cash.
Okay, you're super insistent about this, so I'm gonna go with it.
Yeah, I'm down for it too.
Because now I feel like it's real important to you.
I just find it's easier to have this conversation when just everyone's sitting around naked in hot water.
Molly, I expect you to lead this escapade.
Deal.
Please, lead on.
Sure, boss. So our first bathhouse.
I take 5 steps and I go, I don't know where the blacksmith is.
I'll lead the way.
All right.
5 steps in a circle.
Alrighty.
As everybody walks to Bo, listen, it's just about logistics. I mean, you are
still
in,
look like me?
You are in, no, I dropped it.
Okay.
You are in peak physical condition. Your guns are amazing. I can't do what you do. I can't run into it. Of course, I'm 100 yards back because I'm thin as a wet toilet paper.
Thanks, man. Thank
Clean
you.
as a wet toilet paper.
Thanks.
He's
I'm
just
sorry.
protecting you.
Were you trying to tell me about? I'm sorry. What? Yeah.
I gotta stop complimenting you. It does not lead to good moments. I walk away.
Okay, wait. Damn First time Liam's walked away from me in the camera.
All right. So, following Jester, you make your way back to the Penta Market, to the outside of the Sparkhammer Smithing.
Yeah.
Now, what was previously closed the night before, you can now see the open air smithy is lively and banging. You can hear the slamming of hammer on metal and the shower of sparks from the exterior anvil setup that's currently there. There is the what looks to be a halfling man with deeply tanned, kind of tan red skin, short black hair, and very, very muscular arms, who is currently has leather gloves on, leather apron, and is in the process of looks to be forging some sort of long metal blade and is just hammering it out over the heavy anvil on the outside. There is the trough for the quenching of the blade, and then the interior you can see a few steps away, the orange glow of what looks to be the rest of the blacksmith interior. Cool. There looks to be somebody else on the inside, but you don't get a view of him right now. You can just barely get what looks to be rows and rows and racks of various pieces of armor and weapons that are currently just hanging on display on the inside. There is nobody in the process of walking through at the moment, just in the process of crafting. So you are the only individuals who are holding the space at the moment. To the ting, 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 turn. Ting.
I take my pink bag and put it down on the table in front of him.
Ting. Spin. Oh, hello.
We have things to buy and sell from you.
Well, that's I'm all set and ready here for that. What you got? What you looking to buy?
Well, I pull out. Well, it depends. Do you have a hand axe that I could buy?
Goes and sets the hammer into the water. The steam rises up, kind of crushing the blade. Takes the gloves off and kind of wipes the heavy sweat from the brow. You're looking for a
hand axe, something that's very sharp and can kill people.
that I can do. And turns around on the inside of the building, comes back, and you can see he has two hand axes in the hands. Both look pretty well made. One's a little more intricate than the other, but both are pretty solid. So, we've got these two. Throws one and catches it, throws the other, catches it.
Okay. Put those on the table and then we'll look at some other stuff first. Okay. I have 6 short swords. And they put them down on the table. I've got 2 daggers here. I've got 2 hand crossbows, 2 light crossbows, and I've got 2 heavy crossbows.
All right. You place them all down, and looking at the quality and the shininess and the smooth, fresh weaponry that he's placed on the table, and the pockmarked, used, damaged, in some cases, null mess-covered weaponry, you immediately realize,
Maybe scrap metal is a good thing for these.
Yeah, no, I'd say so. He's all seen some use. Not all that great. Sorry.
But also, we have some other things.
There were the chains, the manacles. We had a cart.
Yeah.
We definitely
Are we
drug
selling
here.
those? Yeah.
Definitely around Ford's neck.
We're selling these things?
Oh, yeah, no,
I have them.
Yeah,
Oh, were they in the bag?
I
Oh,
think
they're
if
in
we
the
put
bag.
everything in the bag, then we could.
You couldn't fit the manacles in the bag.
Well,
The one that was around the neck of the manacle.
well,
was
then we
that big
fucking
around.
had them around our necks. Yes, we were.
Yeah, you had them in the cart, so you could bring them along with you.
We knew we were going to the blacksmith,
Oh, yeah.
y'all.
Well, these here are some nice metal.
And they were magic.
Yeah, show him the
They
rune on
were
the.
magic.
Show him the rune.
They had to be real good metal to be magic.
Maybe a little bit. He takes them, kind of pulls them out. The chains drag for a minute, and he inspects them over. There's some real nice craftsmanship. You don't see something this well made. So, where'd you get this?
This giant lion thing with a woman's head had them around it, and then we killed the lion thing.
We found it.
Did you guys bring the cart with you?
Well, if we got it there, then yeah, probably.
He kind of glances past you. Well, the manticore head is still affixed to the cart, by the way.
Yeah.
Right,
Like
yes, it is.
that rotting head.
The halfling kind of looks past and goes,
Yeah.
I'll take it you mean that thing.
Yeah.
That's right, scary. Well
Yeah.
done. looking at all the weapons, I mean, the wood's mostly rotted, unfortunately. Some of the metal can be melted down and reused. Have to hammer out all the perfections. Thought I smelt it all. Manacles are very nice. Tell you what, give me the lot and the manacles. Give you both of these axes and put you at an excess of about 20 gold pieces.
Do we want both of the axes or just the one?
Why did we need any axes?
I need another weapon.
Oh.
Just one of the axes is all I need. I don't need both.
Okay, put that at about 25 gold in the one axe.
Is that good for you guys?
Works for me.
Yeah.
I like it. I think that is a very good deal. What's your name, sir?
Sorry about that. No, Yannick. Yannick Dummel.
Yannick. I'm Jester. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, Jester. The inside there is Jan. She helps around the place. Well, fantastic. I'll go and get your gold for you. Goes ahead and...
Do you sell flasks?
I do not work in smaller bits of metal, unfortunately. More the heftier kind. My apologies. If you're looking for flasks, kind of takes a moment to think of some. There's the wares and ends. They probably got something there for you. There's a Peckware's provisions. They probably got flasks around that, mate. There's, well, they probably have some at the Lodge of the Eclipse. That's possible.
Lodge of the Eclipse.
Right. That's the more hoity-toity nighttime tavern here in the Penta Market.
What's it called, Lodge of the Eclipse?
Because they're nighttime, it has the great shows on stage.
Sure. Ooh. You know anyone who might want a scary lion head thing? Decorate their walls?
Specifically one that's kind of melting.
A little soggy.
Is there a taxidermist as well? I think she's asked.
Taxidermist.
I don't know about a taxidermist, unfortunately, but I'm pretty sure if you ask around, you can go ahead and find someone willing to pay for that. I'd probably ask the Hall of Erudition. They deal in weird things and strange beasties.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
What did you say the fancy tavern was?
Lodge of the Eclipse.
Lodge of the Eclipse.
You might be able to take it to a school or a medical facility to sell for studies.
Yeah.
I'm good.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys head on towards where now?
The bath.
We're in the pentagram. Pentamarket area. So we're close to the library that you mentioned. I thought it was in that area.
No, the library is the archive you're talking about. Archive is it's on the be on the western side of the Penta Market.
Okay, so we're closer now than we were.
You're closer now.
Okay, so but I don't see the entrance from where we are.
No, but you can see it. It's not one of the tallest towers in the city. In fact, the Tri-Spires, as it's called, has 3 massive towers of all different designs that kind of lord over the rest of the city. Those are the first things you saw when you crested the hill on the way into the city the night before. This one is still visible from your perspective, though. It's a little more squat and maybe about 4 or 5 stories tall.
The Kit and Caboodle is visible from here, or just
you can see where the archive is, but it's maybe another 10-minute walk to get there.
Okay. Does anyone mind if we just swing by and just take a look at the archive? Not go in, we have other things we're going to do, but just to take a look.
At the outside?
It's a bit of a tourist trap, but sure.
Oh, you've seen it before?
Oh, yeah. I lived here for like a short time. Passed through.
Okay, how long did you do that?
A few months.
Okay. Well, I'm a tourist.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's pretty.
All right, if it's on the way, sure.
Okay.
There's a board between here and there. The job board.
Oh, the postings, yeah.
The postings.
What was it? The
King's Hole.
King's Hole.
The King's Hall?
Where the Herald of the Hall is, where we can get that direction.
The King's Hall actually is not that far from the archive, so it would be a brief detour to get there.
We can do a couple to the archive, couple to the King's Hall. Just pick it up.
Yeah, that's cool.
Would you like to show me the archive? Not the inside, the outside.
I think it's this direction, if I remember. I don't know, it's been
Never
some
mind,
time.
I don't want to put you out. Anyone want to go see the archive?
Enthusiasm, Bo. Enthusiasm.
Showing your archive would be good for you.
Come on. Work on what we did. Come
I
on.
don't think Caleb likes me.
Just try it. Give it a whirl.
All right.
It would be great if you could both take me.
All right. Hey, Caleb.
Yeah?
Right this way.
She's really scary.
Is that fuck? Was that right?
It's just a volume thing sometimes. Okay, let's
He
go.
said enthusiasm.
Oh, jeez.
Is that not Let's go this way.
Baby steps.
All right, so where are you heading first?
The archive.
The archive, okay.
Yeah.
Along the way, another town crier crosses by another individual, same garb. It looks to be a kind of a middle-aged woman, hair pulled back into a very, very kind of tight bun, little like tufts of kind of curled hair around the edges. Same tabard in the front, and she's shouting out, "Riot in Rexentrim squashed for peace! Radical groups brought to justice under the crown!"
Oh, that's some dirty.
Yeah.
I follow behind her and yell, "Town crier has toilet paper stuck to her shoe!"
In the middle of her next line, 2 weeks.
So you do know what toilet paper is.
2 weeks time till the Harvest Close Festival. Victory Pit in the Pentamarket entry begins in 4 days.
Wait, what did
Harvest?
you say?
2 weeks.
Festival.
Harvest Festival.
Harvest Close Festival.
Harvest close.
Harvest
Close?
close.
Harvest Close is the end of the
It's
harvest.
in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
In a fortnight.
And the Victory Pit in the Pentamarket entry begins in 4 days.
Victory Pit!
We need to get a really big piece of vegetable.
Yeah. Big pumpkins.
All right.
Victory
You eventually find your way to the outside of the archive, and where you saw was the kind of the tapering tower that had the dome with the kind of like polished kind of sun reflection on one side. The rest of it you can see with the intricate carvings that happen with each bit of the spiral as it continues downward. You can see what looks to be 3 specific smaller spires that kind of almost from this perspective make it look like. I would say almost like a TIE fighter on its side, where it has a series of smaller 3 spires in the base, and then the central spire that is the mainstay of the library. But you can see there is a double door at the base, and a number of individuals dressed and look to be like deep gray robes with blue sashes, very very gray and blue color scheme. As you approach. The outside of it, you can see folks entering and out, but as they enter and exit the facility, they usually enter and exit under the watch and being escorted by one of these individuals that seems to be a member of the archive.
Okay.
Sure is pretty.
I would just like to look around. It's in a square, you say?
Well, it's built off of one of the main roads that leads in the direction of where the King's Hall is. So it's not like in a major square area, but it's off a large road.
Yeah. Well, I am no super spy, but I would like to just look at the area and see what I see in the nature of security, other than these obvious robed figures.
Mm-hmm. All the windows that exist are at least 8 feet off the floor, and look to be a very thick stained glass. The only entrances you see are currently guarded by at least 2 members of the archive, and the dress of them actually is very close to the individual that helped in the trial that you had in Trostenwald, who introduced himself as Xenoth, the one who had kind of helped provide information that eventually got you off the hook for that trial. But you can now see similarities in the color scheme of their attire and the way that it's worn. It's ceremonial. It looks like it comes with some sort of a ceremonial robe, but they're all uniform to a certain extent, with some being more intricate and longer, with more jewelry, and they seem to have a little more station.
And you said everyone going in and out is being escorted by one of these individuals.
Yes.
What do the people who are, if I see 1 or 2 people going in or out, what do they look like?
One of them you see appears to be a woman very well dressed, looks to be like a high collar, buttoned up blouse of some kind, a dress that just barely cuts off right where her ankles hit the ground with his very nice shoes. Looks to be a very well off humanoid woman, a human.
Does she look grumpy?
She looks stoic. Leaves the very.
Is she leaving or coming?
Leaving.
I will follow her.
Okay. The other one looks to be a man probably in his late 30s or so, also human. He has what looks to be a cluster of small pieces of parchment that are folded and kind of wadded into his arm, and he's leaving like he just either is taking something out or is retrieving something.
Same fancy type?
Less fancy than her, but still more well off than most of the other individuals that have passed through.
Fancier than me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's a beautiful building. They're all wearing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You lived here for a few months. What do you know about this place?
There's a lot of books in it, and fancy people are super interested in it.
Is it? I mean, obviously am very interested in learning. Is it easy to gain admittance? Do you know that sort of thing?
I'm not entirely sure.
Oh.
I know they are super into their knowledge.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, knowledge means you're like powerful or something.
Yeah, that's what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing better. Books.
Well, you've really sold me on it. Let's go find the others.
While that's happening, you are following this woman down.
I'll try to stay 25 feet behind her.
Make a stealth check.
Oh, 15.
Okay. No one immediately seems to pay mind, and she is just currently eyes on the prize, heading some direction with earnest intent. The escort, of course, that had helped her out of the archive stays behind and re-enters the building, and she just continues on her own, but stays mainly on the main street. Doesn't go and duck down any alleyways. Very much for her own personal safety during the day, as staying out in the open.
Does she have any bag, purse, visible necklace, pocket, anything pickable?
There do appear to be like two small pockets in kind of the front waist part of the blouse, and what looks to be a small satchel that's hanging off the right, or over the left shoulder, and off the right side of the body.
Do I have any chance in hell of knowing where she went? Because I started looking around immediately.
Make a perception check.
Okay. No.
You have no idea. You come back and Not's gone.
Well, she's an adult goblin woman girl. She's fine.
You're not helping me. Like at all.
Okay, I look around. Do I see Not? Haphazardly.
No. Not at this point.
Okay, well, we are going to look around now is what we're doing.
All right, so while the rest of you are kind of regathering yourselves together to continue on to the next step of your journey, Not.
I'm gonna cast Mage Hand and try to pick. Well, let's see. Can I unbuckle the satchel thing, or would it be easier to just get in a pocket?
It's up to you.
I'll go in a pocket, I guess.
The front pocket?
Or
the
you
part?
said she had two side pockets. I
So
think?
kind of the front of the blouse.
Which front of the blouse?
Front of the blouse.
Like kind of.
Or a satchel on her side.
Yeah.
I'll do the side satchel.
Yeah, you go.
Okay. So go ahead and roll a sleight of hand, please.
Okay. 11.
Okay.
Higher than 10? Is she still with one of the...
No, she's
No.
alone.
All right. So as you're walking and you're concentrating, you watch as the satchel itself kind of lifts and tugs, and just tugs, and her head kind of spins around and looks behind her and looks back.
Sort of press up against the wall.
Glances around confused. Eyes one of the small like pauper children that's off to the side, just kind of begging on the side of the road, and scoffs and holds her chin up, and then continues walking with a brisker pace.
I follow at a brisker pace.
Make another stealth check, please.
Stealth, 22.
Ooh, that's
Kill
good.
the babies and false imprisonment for the kids.
That's not the
All right, brisker pace, but does not seem to have taken notice of your
Get a
tracking.
little closer this time. No, I'll try for one of the pockets this time.
Okay.
Check the harder.
12.
That's better.
There is a brief moment where you watch the flap of the blouse kind of open up and expand a bit as the mage hand begins to reach in for what is within, and then with a slight tug, you watch as 2 of the blouse buttons bounce off, and just a bit of the brassiere shows, and she closes her shirt real fast and looks about again, and turns, and what you can see is a man there who's selling apples on a small cart on the side, is maybe 2 feet from her, and goes, "Miss, the apple," and she just whack smacks him right in the face. And he's, what? How dare you? And then holding her shirt closed and bundles up her satchel up in her arms and just is now like beelining it deeper into the city.
Told her to get away with that.
I run up to where that happened and I pick up the 2 buttons.
They're nice buttons.
I come back.
Oh.
I did it. I got these 2 things. They're very nice and round and shiny.
They're very nice. Where did they come from?
A very grumpy person. She was awful. She scowled at children and slapped an innocent man for no reason. She was evil.
That is 20.
If you want an inside check, all right, we gotta make a deception check then. If you,
well, maybe she believes that.
I believe it.
That's true. Yeah.
She's a horrible person.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay. Well,
my itch has been scratched.
I feel good about everything that just happened. I feel
In that time
so
that
good.
Not was gone, could I spot the Allhammer temple?
From the past, make a perception check.
Or the
Well-
Platinum House.
12.
Unfortunately,
that was early.
unfortunately, no. The Platinum House nor the Hearth of the Allhammer were noticed. The Hearth of the Allhammer exists in the Penta Market, on the northern side. And you guys have kind of cut through to get directly to the kind of the vicinity of the Bathhouse. In the area you are now in the city, you don't have any sort of visual on the Platinum House. All right. So as you guys have gathered yourselves together and you make your way towards the Steam's Respite, we're going to take a break. Because it is 9 o'clock. All right. We'll be back here in a few minutes. We'll make this as quick a break as we can so we can jump back in. In the meantime, guys, sit tight. We'll see you in a few minutes.
This is your brain. This is your brain on spoilers. Spoilers suck. But you can avoid spoilers by muting the hashtag on Twitter, by hitting privacy and settings, go to notifications, and then mute the hashtags you don't want to hear under muted words. But don't forget to unmute the muted words when you're all caught up.
Ah! What threw this here? There's egg everywhere!
Hey, Key, question. What exactly is Key Question?
Key Question? The new show from Geek and Sundry that will show exclusively on Alpha every Tuesday starting on March 6th, which happens to be today.
Yeah, that show. Key Question. You know, the show where I ask you seemingly simple questions, but then you complicate everything by giving me every possible answer because you have too many possible answers rattling around in your head?
Wait. What do you mean I give you every answer? Like, I totally answer your questions. Like, we address and how his breaking the fourth wall gives him a unique subjectivity in his interpretation, or how exemplifies Afrofuturism, and how is a primary example for surviving abuse, or how knowing the infinite is what gives the infinite their infinity, or how...
Yeah, but Key, all I wanted to know was how powers worked.
But why stop there? There's so much more we can learn from these properties if we dig deeper. So much truth, so much philosophy and psychology and theology and morality, ethics. These are our myths. This is our culture. If we dive deep, there's so much we can learn from each other about how to be better humans if we just, look beyond those simple questions.
Oh, I know. That's why we're doing this show.
Key Question?
Yeah, Key Question. Exclusively on Alpha every Tuesday.
Watch Alpha!
This is your brain. This is a Tide Pod. Don't eat the Tide Pods. Like, what? Like, this is still food. You know what food is. Don't. What?
You get exasperated.
They smell real good. Oh man. This is Critical Role. This is Twitch Prime. Hang on. Am I getting this right? Is this is this a bad thing?
No, well, I think that's supposed to be Critical Role, and that's Twitch Prime.
Oh, okay. So we're going like you gotta break eggs to make an omelet type of
I
situation.
think that's too many metaphors.
I actually think it might be Don't Cry Over Spilt Eggs.
No, that's Don't Cry Over Spilt Milk.
Who asked for milk?
Why would you do
What?
that?
No. This is.
I got milk.
Okay, this is getting out of control. Just subscribe to Twitch Prime. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe to a channel of your choice for free. And Geek and Sundry thanks you for your support. Okay, hang on, wait. Let me. Who wrote this?
We wrote this.
Right, we did it.
Let's stain some glass, y'all. That's right, we're learning Sagrada from Floodgate Games. Oh, it just comes pre-stained? Okay, cool. Setup begins with a shuffle of the private objective cards, and one is dealt to each player face down. Then each player is dealt 2 random window pattern cards and chooses one to play, either front or back, by sliding it in the window frame player board. Discard the other. Each player receives favor tokens equal to the difficulty of the pattern located in the bottom right corner. Boop. Next, set the round track near the center of the table and shuffle the Tool and Public Objective decks. Deal 3 cards of each deck face up in the center as well. These cards will be available for all players to activate during the game. Finally, place all 90 dice into the dice bag and select a first player, maybe the last person to visit a cathedral. Huh? We like it? That's good. Gameplay occurs over 10 rounds. Every round, the starting player pulls dice out of the bag at random and rolls them. Depending on the number of players, only a certain number of dice are rolled. It's essentially 2 dice per player plus 1. See? Easy. These rolled dice form the draft pool for the round. Beginning with the starting player, each person takes a turn in clockwise order. During a turn, a player may select to draft 1 die from the draft pool and add it to their window. In order to place that die on their board, however, a player has to obey some rules. The first die must be touching any edge of the window, and each subsequent die must be adjacent to an existing die, either diagonally or orthogonally. Yeah, that's a vocab word, right? Orthogonally? It's good. The place die must also match the color or value restriction on that space, but white spaces have no restrictions. Lastly, dice may never be placed orthogonally adjacent to a die of the same color, but diagonal is cool. And that's dice placement. Additionally, during their turn, a player may activate one of the tool cards in the center area. By playing a favor token on the card, they may use the ability listed. If the tool already has been used at least once, all subsequent costs are 2 tokens per use. Goes up. Players may take a die or use a tool or both, or neither. But once each player has gone once, the draft order reverses, starting with the last player and continuing counterclockwise back to the starting player. Typical draft fashion, you get it. Once the starting player has had their second turn, the round ends. Take one of the remaining die of the draft pool and place it on the round counter, marking the beginning of the next round. The dice bag is passed clockwise, and that player is now the starting player for this round. After 10 rounds, the game ends and we score up those points, baby! Flip that round tracker and you're gonna find a score track. Players inspect the dice on their window board and add up the total points from completing those sweet public objectives and their super secret private objective. Unused favor tokens are worth 1 bonus point each, but here's the kicker, each open space on a player's board counts as -1 point, so don't have any open spaces. The player with the most victory points wins. One great keep them honest rule in Sagrada, if a player's window is ever discovered to have an illegally placed die, that player must immediately remove dice from their window until all the restrictions are addressed. Those dice are out of play, and the empty spaces will count against a player in the endgame, so be sure to make legal plays. And that's Sagrada. I'm Becca Scott, and you can watch me play this game and other awesome games on Game the Game, right here on Geek and Sundry. I'll see you there.
This is your brain. This is your brain on spoilers.
Your best.
All right.
And welcome back, everyone. That's fine. Welcome back. So thank you for your patience. Once again, you didn't miss anything. Sorry, we didn't have a giveaway this week. We hope to have one up and going real soon from our folks in Wormwood. So in the meantime, hang tight. You didn't miss anything. All right.
Oh, I pooped on myself.
You really are Caleb.
No, that's
So what
just-
is that?
It's not poop. That's where I've had this circle.
No, that is.
That's Pocky chocolate.
I'm gonna dad thumb you.
That's Pocky chocolate.
That's gross.
It's just fecal matter. It's not.
Anyway, welcome back, guys. Great to have you. So, you guys coast alongside the road leading towards the Seam's Respite. You catch a glance at what appears to be the King's Hall. Immediate glance. It's a massive structure of bronze and cobalt that is the what looks to be essentially the central courthouse of the city. You can see it's this massive, tall, single story that stands at least 20 feet high, with what looks to be long, thin windows about every 15 or so feet. The Crown's Guard presence is pretty thick. You see probably at first glance at least 10 or so that are just watching the front as general sentries. But there it is. You do also, at a quick glance, see what appears to be a 10-foot by 5-foot large, heavy piece of wooden board that is standing on its own about 4 feet from the main entrance to the right. It has a number of pieces of just parchment stuck to it. So, you guys continue on? Head to the bathhouse? What do you do?
Take a gander.
We've got Mr. Memory Board here to just sort of scan the thing.
Oh, that's true.
Take a quick look at it.
That's true.
And then we can have a discussion somewhere
Are there
comfortable.
people watching the board right now?
Looks like there's one person kind of scanning past, just kind of in the process of reading and looking at things as they go. Looks to be a person in basic leather armors, like probably a sellsword of some kind.
As soon as he walks away, is there any, are there any guards looking at the board?
Not like directly reading of it, but there are right now 4 that are within a 15-foot proximity of it.
It's a lot of guards.
It's a lot of guards at this one board.
Well, the board's at the right at the front of what is essentially the courthouse center of the entire city.
That's
Y'all wanna
true.
go back? I'll walk up with Caleb.
Works for me.
Is there a place I can duck away for a second, or is there like a?
I mean, there is away from the building, but there's nothing.
I can walk away from the building, cast disguise self on myself, and make myself look exactly like Ford.
Just a shorter version.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So you
I've
watch-
done this before. I've only seen people do that, so that's what I'm gonna do.
So you, so the height difference you can create with the disguised self, I believe, is it a foot?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you have
4 foot tall.
you're 4 foot tall Ford, but a perfect replica of Ford on a smaller scale emerges from the shadows and saddles up alongside you, Ford.
I was gonna say it's a very focused Ford.
Oh, wow.
You know?
Yeah. Like a tiny little Fiesta.
Howdy.
Are you doing a variation of Mother's Love right now?
Yeah, well, I've never used this spell before, so I just did what you did.
Oh, it's good. Mistakes that I have made, learn from them. Keep quiet.
Yeah, I was going to say the same.
Howdy.
All right. So let's see. As you approach the board, which you can see has a top of it pressed into the wood, the lettering that say task board. Now the Heaven One board, it looks like an immediate view of it. There are maybe 8 pieces of paper that are currently stapled to it with various, rusted nails that have been reused and even kind of placed onto it, or have been stuck and then replaced into it. And there's probably close to 45 or 50 other rusted nails that are just stuck there and been left that have currently holding nothing to it. But you do see through a first glance, both of you, as you look past them, a lot of them are looking for general work helping construction. Some are looking for people that want to help reinforce buildings that are crumbling. There are some that are looking for folks that can help shoo away parts of the outer steads that are encroaching upon the farmlands on the outside of the wall. You do see one that says seeking and paying for any information on myriad activity within the city. There is one that says reward for information on rebel gatherings and anti-crown rhetoric. There's one that says
Let's do it.
Hush, son.
there's one that says proof of others' worship of heretical gods paid in gold. One that says looking for work for the glory of our King Bertrand. Good pay and adventurous living as a soldier of the righteous brand. Seek Leopold Wangsteiger at the Marrow Keep.
What?
Wangsteiger. Wangsteiger. Wangsteiger.
Can I try sleight of hand and just try to make that into Wang Stacker?
Yeah, go for it.
Wang slapper.
I believe in you.
So are we all up there now?
Wang stacker.
I
Apparently
I think
that
that's
much
a-
in you, but I believe in
I think it was a 12.
No one seems to notice as you quickly scribble out and alter the visual to where it says Wangstacker. At the Marrow Keep in the Signet Wall.
Okay.
And then roving beast in need of extermination must be trained sellsword with experience.
That's right up our alley. Extermination.
Neutral action.
And there looks to be one piece of engraved kind of brass or bronze material on the side that says, all job inquiries to be taken to Herald of the Hall of Voloshin within.
The fucking Herald.
Yep.
Would you repeat that last phrase, please, DM?
All job inquiries are to be taken to Herald of the Hall.
Herald of the Hall.
Voloshin.
Voloshin.
Yeah, Voloshin.
This is the guy the town crier said.
Well, I think.
Personally, I think that we should turn in those devious schemers and get all the gold we can.
No, look, come on. No, they confided in us. The last thing we should do is turn on that just for a simple coin.
Besides, did you see how many other posts on that board were
Yeah.
all revolved around ratting people out?
Yeah, also, I don't want to stick my neck out, but anything that is a thumb in the eye of the Empire, I'm all for.
Snitches get snitches get stitches. Stitches are just snitches. Stitches get snitches. Wait.
Stitches are just stitches.
In the original Zimian,
It makes more sense.
One of the few.
I personally enjoyed the last beast that we played, but I think we have plenty to
There's a lot
discuss
of
in
work
that.
Yeah, let's
warm
go
bath
take
we
our
talked
bath.
about.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
It's time for a bath.
As we walked there, I talked to Caleb. What's you mentioned being like Empire?
Just now, you mean just a moment ago?
Yeah.
Don't
Yes.
say it in the open, you guys. Wait until we're in the bath.
yeah, let's just be moseying
Okay,
about
all right,
on a nice slow and
okay.
steady.
That's a good point.
Can you put your thumbs in your pockets and give yourself a little waddle?
Yuck, yuck.
Look right on right there.
Tiny mosey.
This is a dark mirror, man. This is a dark
Give
mirror.
a little spit so people know you're coming.
Which is strange because the spit actually emerges from your sternum. But as you progress, you eventually find yourself to the outside of the Steam's Respite, which fairly simple looking building of deeply dark stained wood slats that are all vertical against what would be heavy load bearing columns at each major corner, but it's fairly sizable for its simple exterior.
I've learned one thing in my travels: always hit the bathhouse first. Every major town.
Good to know.
Finally, a bath.
Right. As you guys walk your way into the main chamber, there's a couple of benches immediately to the right and left of you. It looks to be some small planters that have low light plants just being kept in the area to kind of give a fresher scent. There is a small chair and a desk set up with a clerk and what looks to be an older female half-orc, hunched but smiling, with her gray, thick hair kind of braided up on the sides, and then pinned in the back with what looks to be a long spike of some kind, with a lower jaw that extends with two visible tusks but a warm smile amongst the rest of the nice flower dress that she wears. As you approach, she looks up from the desk.
Hello. You've come to the respite. I am Rima, Miss Rima. Are all of you here for a bath?
Yes, Miss Rima.
Indubitably. Would you like individual rooms?
Oh, I think we plan on doing a lot of stuff, so probably all together.
Right. So the common room. It is the less expensive but less private. For the 6 of you, for the common chamber, that'll run about 3 silver apiece.
That sounds quite agreeable.
Oh, Rima, is there someone who can take care of our clothing and clean it up as well while we're bathing?
That can be provided at an additional cost, my dear. That'll be an additional 1 silver each for the washing and cleaning fee.
Oh, happily.
I'll take it.
Yes, yes.
I'll pass on that.
You probably shouldn't, though.
He's all clean right now. Pumat Soul, hook him up.
They can stitch up the holes and stuff
Clothes
too,
are still
though.
pretty shit.
No, you were prestidigitation.
My hair is killer right now.
It's so
The
fluffy.
clothes is old and shitty.
Yeah, the clothes are cleaner; they're just tattered and patched and yeah.
Some stains don't come out.
Like the poop splash.
I meant blood, but sure.
Yeah.
Poop blood.
The poop is right there.
Early 90s River Phoenix hair. Just like
going everywhere on its own volition.
Yeah.
I'd like that in my clothes, please. Yeah.
hair surprise.
4, 8, 12.
I already paid mine.
16, 20, 23 silver for the lot. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Takes a change, leads you into a back chamber where you get undressed, and there is a doorway that leads open into what is a central common kind of a hot spring bath that is dug out of the ground here. It has kind of a rock perimeter to it, and the steam immediately hits you, and it smells of herbs and soaps. And while the water itself is somewhat cloudy, and it looks like there's maybe only 4 other people in there, kind of obscured by the steam at the edges of the pool. But as you guys are, as Miss Rima leaves your presence, you guys can finish disrobing and leaving your clothing behind, and then enter the bathhouse.
I go in and I'm like that kind of drunk person in the hot tub at the hotel. Sorry. Hi, how you guys doing? Excuse me. Scoot over. Scoot over. I got more friends coming.
All
I
right.
run by her and say, cannonball, and jump in.
Soldier.
All right. So as the explosion of water hits, there's this older couple, kind of in their 70s or so, that as you kind of muscle in, they just slowly scoot away, and then there's the splash, and they both and kind of like avoid the space. As Jester as you come up out of the water, Jester, and kind of your hair kind of flaps back on the back of your neck.
Hair like the Little Mermaid.
Yep. And your eyes focus, and you see a familiar face in the water across from you, leaning kind of arms akimbo against the rock, is what looks to be a thick hilt of a sword resting apparently in the hot tub. You see a familiar, pale-looking, muscular woman with darker hair that fades to light, as there is Yasha kind of staring you with a curious look.
Fresh off the East Coast.
Bruce
Scoot in a bit.
Scooting. Oh, hi. I'm here, a little sleepy, but I'm here.
Oh boy.
Oh, well, if it isn't my old friends.
The fuck?
Oh my God, Yasha!
You know, I have been tracking you guys for quite some time, and I knew you were here, but I just figured I'd want to get a bit of a bath first and get a little bit of a rub down, treat myself.
Oh man, you come to these places a lot. I've never been.
I enjoy sometimes the finer things of life.
She rolled with Molly.
I walk out of the changing room and just like walk by. Don't even just like give a kiss on the head. Just took you long enough to bloody find us.
I know, I'm sorry. I had some things to do.
For the record, tattooed like a lot.
Like everywhere.
Yeah, explain the tattoos.
Okay, so I apologize that there's no art yet. I'll get around to that. There is a snake tattoo that curls all the way up the arm, that goes all the way up into the peacock. That people have seen the top of the peacock, but the peacock is actually roving into a big floral piece that goes down into a snake that is kind of swallowing the hand. Nice. There is an eye in a pyramid piece with another eye illuminated above it that seems to almost go into the hairline all the way up the back. And then there's a moon and sun connected to like the sort of the shoulder piece that all interconnects. The whole thing is very complicated.
Is it all upper body?
It is all upper body, yeah.
What about the Prince Albert?
Except for it's, yeah, do you actually know what that is? 'Cause- Yeah, no, I don't know.
She knows a lot about dicks, remember?
Prince Albert is for a very tight
Poor
hand.
Ashley, wherever she goes, it's body tattoos.
Yeah.
I found him in the woods and in a bag of holding.
Each tattoo has 15 meanings.
Have you been hot on our heels this whole time to keep pace with us?
Well, you guys are not very discreet. It's pretty easy to follow.
Did you see what happened in Oldfield?
Yeah. So we are
That was us.
transparent.
We killed them all.
Okay, I came for the aftermath of it, but I didn't see, or I would have jumped in and helped, of course.
Why are you following us? And by the way, even though I am totally naked, I still look like
A fully
Ford
clothed
with
tiny
clothes
Ford.
on.
Yeah. So even when you remove your clothing, they just kind of shut off your body and they still visually appear on you. It's a very strange visual.
It's me, the goblin, by the way.
I do remember you quite well.
Why were you following us?
I said I was going to meet you back here in Zadash.
We told her where we were going to be.
Oh, but don't you have mysterious big person things to do?
I did. I have things that I occasionally tend to, and I did.
Did you do them?
Ish.
Mysterious.
It's not that mysterious. I just have things that I have to do sometimes.
Well, we're looking to get into some,
Trouble?
yeah.
Okay.
I've made
Nice
like
to have
60
that
gold
big
in
sword
3
of yours
days.
around.
You've made 60 gold in
it's
3 days.
ridiculous.
Kill things for money.
I've never made money like this.
We got the head of a manticore out on our cart, melting in the sun.
I stole 2 buttons.
Oh. How nice. What do they look like, these buttons?
They're in my other my existing
other clothing?
clothes. Yeah, no, they're in the other room. They're really nice though.
You're among friends. You don't have to wear any clothes if you don't want.
I'm okay.
Shy.
Oh, are you like free of bandages and everything too, and we just can't see it?
Yeah, I handed all of those bandages to be washed.
I did hear of that you've been calling yourself something. I've heard a name floating around that you're calling yourselves the Mighty Nein.
Mm-hmm.
We are getting a reputation.
Word of mouth. You don't need a big public thing.
Not too much, Caleb.
no.
It's all right. Not too
How
much.
many
Just-
people have you heard that from?
3.5.
That's a lot of
that's
people.
less than a handful.
That's
3 and 1
deep.
dead.
Not even worth mentioning.
In a
almost.
handful of days.
In a handful of days.
And is our reputation intimidating, imposing, threatening?
It's neither here nor there, but I don't. Just for clarification, is it 9 is the number 9?
Yes, it's the number 9.
Okay.
Yeah. So we still need a few people.
No,
Okay.
that's not
It's going
correct.
to be very hard to search for it, so they don't know if it's 9 or 9.
No, it's
Right.
9.
That's
It's the
true.
number.
That's good.
It's deliberately
Okay.
con- And are they looking for 9 people?
That's right.
Right.
You look different.
Thought it was no.
Yes, I have been in this bath for a few minutes. No, you were here when I got here. That's true. We visited an arcane shop, and the gentlemen, I'm not sure really, the proprietor of the shop did a little dippity-doo to me, and it just took everything away.
Did you know there's a spell that can do that?
No, I actually don't know much about spells and things.
Yeah, he gave me the car wash, took it all away.
Oh, nice.
That's something different from where I come from.
Yeah, I don't like this. I start sinking into the bath and enveloping everything and just sitting on the bottom and holding my breath for a
Well,
little
we
while.
lost Caleb. Should we discuss the potential job offers that we've collected?
Well, and also if we're going to get him back, we're going to have an agreement about the fact that while there is going to be a certain amount of advertising necessary for this kind of venture, there are many of us, and I think it's fair to say, that want to kind of keep things quiet. As quiet as possible.
I agree. I'm also not looking to attract any attention.
Discretion.
You hear this like 4 series of quick snapping claps in here. Heat it up! You hear the voice of Miss Rima from within, and you watch as 2 side doors open, and these small troops of women and men come through with these pots of heated water and then dump them into the bath to kind of refresh the heat, and then exit again and then close the doors behind them.
Bless you.
God, it's hot down there on the ears.
I wasn't going to tell you. Yeah.
I'm not in the water.
You're not in the water?
No.
I
You're just standing off to the side now?
Yeah.
But you're naked.
Possibly, yes.
You're ready to come in. Come
Wait,
in.
have you been in the water at all?
No, I prefer not to.
Do you not like going into the water?
Thank you.
What is it about it?
It's creepy. It's dangerous in there. It can drown a person.
So wait, you're creeped out by water and you're creeped out by fire? Man. Covering the spectrums. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how to swim?
I don't know. I haven't tried in a while.
Well, we could certainly teach you.
We could hold you.
Yeah, I mean, it's very shallow here. Very little risk.
Yeah.
My father just threw me right in. That's how I learned.
You know,
We're
that's
not
actually...
not gonna do that.
No, it's terrible.
It's not a bad technique, though.
It was awful, but here we are.
You could do the dog pedal. Have you ever seen the dog pedal
I mean,
before?
it seems dangerous though. Like, how do you breathe in there?
Well, you keep your head above water.
You know.
Here, I take Knot and I just say, just hold my hands. Just hold my hands. Okay, ready? And I pull Knot into the water and I go,
Come
now
on, baby,
kick, kick,
forward.
kick, 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 kick. There you go. Kick, 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 kick. Keep kicking. Keep kicking. Good job. Good job. And I put her back on the, put her back on the
Wow,
edge.
that brought it back. She vomits up a popsicle
Yeah,
into the
it's
pool.
okay. See?
Sam and I.
Another button comes out of the mouth.
Yeah.
See, how did it feel?
Summers.
It wasn't terrible.
Oh, sure.
Does the little fjord look wet or dry?
Looks dry.
Dry.
But leaving a trail of water behind them.
Magic so much.
It's not bad.
Are the old couple looking at us like we're weird?
Yes. They're both off, kind of like holding each other, just going.
Hey, they're all about to start having sex, so you might want to get out of here.
They immediately get up and start leaving into the changing room and exit the chamber.
Is there anyone else in this pool with us?
At the moment, no.
Yeah.
I don't think
It's a party room now.
I don't think they understood that was an invitation.
So here's what we got. We got gold for myriad activity. Myriad? Myriad activity, whatever that is.
That's exciting.
We got reward for rebel gatherings, which we are not going to do.
Pass.
We got tracking down heretical god worship. I don't think we're feeling that one, right?
With this one, no.
Do you have a god that you worship? Because we've just been told that it's bad juju around here.
Yeah, apparently there are only 6 deities they allow to be worshipped publicly.
What are the 6 deities?
The Allhammer, the Raven Queen, the
Platinum Dragon.
Thank you.
The Dawn Father.
Yep.
The Annoying Mistress.
Knowing. That's a different pantheon altogether.
God, yes. What was it? The Dawn Father, the Raven Queen, the Knowing Mistress, the Allhammer,
Sneezy, bashful
The Lawbearer.
the Lawbearer.
Do you have any sort of religion or tradition of like heavy metal or something?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
Are you in the clear?
Not here.
Do you worship the Traveler too?
I do not.
Oh, okay. I thought I would have known you if you did.
You probably.
We have really small group meetings. It's usually just me.
Well, he sounds like a great. So many adventures with traveling and with him.
What about you?
Oh, well, I don't feel like I'm comfortable to say.
We can see your vagina.
Yeah, you don't have anything to hide from us.
I mean, it's underwater,
we're
but
all comfortable.
One assumes there's like a mist that's just covering everything.
It obscures it to the point where, yeah, it's
you stand up and it's still like over.
I mean, nudity's all great and all, but this is more about comfortability.
As a victim of campaign 1, yes, there has to be.
It's like everything is a milk bath.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's not milk.
All right, we also got apparently Wang Stacker. Yeah, he had something at the Morrow Keep.
He's wanted people to join the military, so
Yeah, we're not
no.
going to do that. But there is a roving beast, which I feel like kind of falls into our wheelhouse.
I like killing roving beasts.
I don't know what a wheelhouse is, but I feel pretty positive about the metaphor in general.
Not, do you want me to wash your hair for you? No one will see, because you look like Ford.
And if you're not planning on if you're not planning on bouncing Toot Sweet, might be a fair way to find our way into town.
Sometimes I have to go,
Yeah.
but I like killing things, so
Oh my God, the money.
sign me up.
My God, the money.
And my God, the money.
Never seen
We
anything
make
like it.
so much money off of ears.
Yeah, we really
Just
did.
ears alone.
3 months worth of shows like that.
Wow.
The Crown's Guard has so much money.
And they're so lazy.
They're
Oh.
yeah.
And we're about to go make a whole lot of gold over at the Pillow Trove.
What is the Pillow Trove?
Well,
It's a fancy hotel place.
Apparently, Jester's mother is going to hook it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's your mother?
She's the Ruby of the Sea.
I feel like I've heard of the Ruby of the Sea.
It's very true.
Yeah. And then the.
Yeah, with the- Yeah.
Okay, I have heard of the Ruby of the Sea.
Yeah.
That's pretty spectacular that that's your mother.
I know.
She has her own jingle.
How did that go again? Everybody knows Ruby of the Sea.
She's the best, what was it? The best lay around.
You guys have really bad memories.
Hey, now, the next step is to get your head underwater, okay? We're going to take a big breath all
I've
together.
been sudsing up your hair. You have to do it to dunk your hair.
To wash my hair.
Yeah, so Bo and I will hold you, and on the count of 3, we're going to go under. 1 and 2, and 3. We all go underwater with not. And we bring it back up.
I'll kill you all! I'll kill
Shush.
He's down. We're friends.
Hey, you did great. You did great. Hey. You're going to get a sticker.
Is soccer at the end of this? From Jester, not from me, but
It
you'll get a
didn't
sucker.
burn, right? You lived. Great job.
Thank you.
How do you feel now? Are you still scared?
I'm less scared, but it's still uncomfortable, and I prefer to do it at my own speed. Thank you very much.
Do you want to just stand at the side then and hold the side?
Hold the side.
Yes.
Reminds me, man,
Gotta show
of the
progress.
results. Exactly. We gotta show progress.
Yasha,
She'll
there
claim
is
favoritism.
heavier presence of the Empire here than there was in Trostenwald. How does that sit with you?
Well, I know I just have to be careful about some certain things, and I think I'll be fine.
Nobody's chasing after you or giving you any heat, are they?
No.
Inside check.
Jesus. Yeah, which one? I am lying.
Generally, you can say, "Do I believe her?" And then I'll tell you to make an inside check.
Okay. Do I believe her?
Yeah.
I do. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no one's. I'm not. I'm not in trouble for anything. I think if anything, it would just be because of the god I've chosen to follow.
Which
but
is
obviously
who?
Jester.
Well, It's the Stormlord. I don't know if you know of him, but
Do any of
he's,
us know what the Stormlord is?
Yeah.
I mean, for basic religion, you would, because you've been outside of the Empire. Those of you that grew up in the Empire, you would vaguely have much of an idea.
What about a big Rita?
You would probably make a religion check.
Natural 20.
You're very aware of the Stormlord. You know the Stormlord well because since the Menagerie Coast largely relies on port trade, it is one of the most worshipped gods in the Menagerie Coast for people who travel in and out of the ports there. Oversees safe passage amongst bodies of water, contests of strength, proving worth through action. A lot of very interesting elements that the two of you would know of that following.
I understand. The Stormlord is to be feared and respected.
Yes. He's pulled me out of what literally felt like the depths of hell, so I owe him my life. And I will continue to serve him and do as he asks whenever he asks.
Are you from the Menagerie Coast as well?
No.
Are you from the Empire?
No.
Where are you from?
Sorry, Yasha, this is a lot. If you don't want to answer, I understand.
Yeah, you just joined back up with her. She doesn't need to tell us her life story.
When you say pulled you from hell, though.
Wow, Bo. Really?
What?
Just-
She brought it up.
You're literally undercutting the very thing I just said.
We are very glad that you're back.
I vouch for her for what it's worth.
Which means a lot, Molly.
It means what it means.
Holy.
Molly, what else do you do around the hot bath spa place?
You run into your friends who are also heading in odd directions.
You stand uncomfortably close to people you know and make them feel awkward, and I walk really close to you for.
It makes... I tend to find it's just easier to look into somebody's eyes and figure out if they're lying to you if they're naked and boiling.
Uh-huh. Jester,
Yes.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Yasha, it's interesting to see you without your cloak.
Yeah.
Super adamant about that one.
I was cold.
Sure. Hot tub, you know.
I recall when you asked for it, it was a very cold day.
Yeah.
But,
do you need a towel? You need me to, like, get the hard to reach places in your back or anything for you
got
while
it.
we're here?
I got it.
No, you're good?
I'd like to think you're just like scratch. You got a sword in your hand, for God's sake.
Yeah, right.
This is normal, right?
You pay
This
extra
kinda...
to keep your weapons, so you
Cleanliness?
just
Yeah.
never know
You've
when you're
been in
gonna
the
need
water before, haven't
Nah,
you?
I know. It just seems to be happening faster than before. It's all fragrant and
Oh
stuff.
no, Ford!
Right, no.
Are you melting?
He's turning into a fish.
Oh no, you're turning into water. I
Yes.
see.
Something to do
Oh,
with
no.
the salt water you've been
Oh,
vomiting.
no.
Oh, no,
Jester, hell.
5 or 6 days in, I think, and I'm really questioning this decision.
Well, should we take the mission to go kill the big beast?
I think so.
I say we take the beast. We, again, keep it on the down low. We'll figure out a way of getting credit and keeping our reputation, but keeping it quiet.
All right.
Okay.
Keeping it fair. Things like that.
We take it to the Herald of the Hall.
Yes.
God, I hope his name is Harold.
You
It's
guys
the
know
motion.
how Shikasta was all like, hush, and hush,
Uh-huh.
secret, you know?
Yeah.
Is that
Maybe.
what he was like? Is that what he was
Yeah,
like?
yeah, he was all like, I'm mysterious.
Yeah.
Maybe.
A guy named Shikasta, who's super cool. White afro, really awesome.
Yeah,
Kinda
have you heard of
blind.
him?
Totally blind.
Yeah.
Everywhere he went, he was like,
blind.
he was like super badass.
He said
right?
baby a lot.
He called us
yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He calls you
So-
a baby a lot.
Yeah, but in like a charming way.
Yeah.
Hummingbird.
Yeah, like I was kind of into it. I didn't feel demeaned by it. I was like, oh, it kind of
Like, yeah,
Made
baby.
you feel
good. Makes me feel safe.
Yeah, bring on
Okay.
I felt mean, but in a good way. Nice.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying,
Sometimes
I'm just saying,
Just
be
nice.
it can
It was
bad thing
tingling.
to feel.
Be like that.
like that. You learn a thing.
Oh, it's good to see you.
I get out and I start drying my hair and try to get pretty.
Okay.
Yeah, we're up.
All right. So you guys start making your way out of the bath, gathering your clothing once more. As you head back into
gather my clothing away from
Is this
Jester.
one still in disguise?
I'm completely.
Are you still in disguise?
I don't know how long's it been.
It's an hour that it takes to do it.
Oh yeah, no, you've been in here, I'd say, catching up and soaking for about a half an hour to 40 minutes, so you're getting pretty close to losing your...
Wrap a towel around myself.
Disappears into the
And then I'll drop the floor.
Come on,
Okay.
son.
You now see like the towel-covered goblinoid form of Nott, her hair just like wet and tattered down across the face. It's like long and in the front, the yellow eyes kind of peeking through.
It's like Samara from the
Are our
ring.
clothes in here or somewhere else? Did we
They
leave
probably
them?
folded them up for
Leave
us.
them in cubbies?
Yeah.
But I didn't send mine off to be cleaned.
Oh, then yours was in the
It's in the
locker.
pile
So
on
I'm going to
the
pull
cupboard.
the spool of silver thread and I'll take a length of it out and I'm just going to pull Nott's hair back and then I'll just do a little ponytail. Simple.
Yes.
All right.
I'm gonna wait till everyone
Bo.
gets out.
I was gonna say, damn it. Damn it. I was gonna say, I wait and watch all my friends get out.
Just opposite sides.
Just opposite side.
You guys coming?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that I get my full time's worth.
Except we paid a lot for this.
Should we just catch you outside then?
So, no, it's good.
It's a really hot tub.
Yeah. I think the moment is past for the rest of us. I think we should go.
We'll just go.
Maybe
We'll
they
just
need
go.
more hot water. We'll send some in on our way out.
Have fun storming the castle.
The clean clothing is presented. You guys get dressed, and your outfits are waiting for you in the dressing room.
Okay.
I'm ready for Monster Hunt.
Who gives up first?
I'm real down for
We're
this.
in hot tub chicken right now. Just
I mean, I don't care to show anything. I just wanted to get a. I feel like this is a pool of honesty. I just wanted to see everybody else naked first.
yeah, it's honestly kind of my thing.
Okay, I'm getting out.
Yeah.
And the water drops a foot and a half.
But it's kind of fun to watch her make her way out using the large great sword, essentially as a walking stick, as she emerges from the tub.
Do I get a nice view?
Yeah.
Yes.
Roll for perv.
Yeah, you perving on Yasha.
And now I get out.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, we're good now.
Yeah. All right. So you guys have regathered your materials. You've reconvened outside the Steam's Respite, and you've now. It's about midday now, about noonish. The rest of the day is still yours. What do you wish to do?
Let's find the
King's Hall.
Herald.
Yeah.
The Maudlin
Well,
Herald.
you guys do that. I need to go to the Pillow Trove, okay?
Where are you going?
I need to go to the Pillow Trove, which is a really the nice tavern in place.
Would you mind? I don't want to go in, but would you mind if I tagged along with you?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Will you be gone for a while? Or is it a quick errand?
It's a quick errand. I just need to pop in and pop out. You know how you
We'll
do.
just see you back over here then? Okay.
Not. You want to stick with the others? I'm going to run an errand with Chester.
Do you need me?
Not for this. We'll just be gone a couple of hours.
Do you need health potions because you might die?
I think chances are very low that I will be.
Do you have one?
Yeah, I have the one you
Okay,
secured for me.
good.
Come on, it'll be fine. We'll see if we can meet anybody else who you could make feel better about who they are.
Go have fun. Maybe you get another button or two from a grumpy person.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I go before we leave. I run up and give Yasha a hug, and say, "I'm glad you're back."
Oh, thank you, Jester. I get uncomfortable. I don't hug her back, but I gently give her one pat.
And someone's better at that.
Caleb sees this. Caleb sees this and just goes.
This is the hug around the arms that are down, and you're like,
Yeah.
Perfect.
I'm trying. Very uncomfortable human touch.
I feel like I know you better now.
all right, we'll see you back at the King's Hall.
Okie dokie.
Alrighty. So, those of you heading to the King's Hall, you make your way back to the familiar outside, this large center for law, order, and judgment within the city of Zadash. As you approach the interior, or the doorways, the front, the guards kind of pass but keep an eye very closely as you enter. And on the interior, you could see there are 2 round tables with what appear like curved benches that meet the sides of it. And there you can see some of the Crown's Guard in the process of talking to various civilians and taking notes. There's conversation about, pardon me. So.
Is there like a desk or a clerk or someone that is?
You don't see a desk or a clerk, but you do see the Crown's Guard that are currently at the tables talking to these individuals, and you see 2 other individual Crown's Guards that are standing and guarding 2 hallway entrances that lead further into the King's Hall.
As we walk up, I'm gonna take my robe and just, for the first time, anytime this party has seen, kind of just cross it over and tie it a little bit more traditionally.
Okay.
I'll walk up to one of the King's Guard and just ask, we're here to inquire about one of the postings. There's a roving beast that needs taken care of.
Let me go ahead and get the herald for you. Hold on just a second. And he goes and scoots out of the next hallway. A few moments later, you watch as this really kind of stressed-looking male dwarf with these thick, like mutton chops, and this kind of salt and pepper hair, well-groomed. It's like combed really heavily to one side. The thick hair is being tamed to the point where, in a very Gene Wilder way, like it's combed and then out one side. And as he walks in, he's wearing what looks to be long robes of gold and white and silver, and carries the holy symbol of the law bearer. You can see what looks to be an axe that hangs on a chain with a scale embedded in the center of it. He walks in. So you're inquiring about the job board.
That's right. We're a few members of the group known as the Mighty Nein. We would like to take one of those listings off your hand if we could.
All right. Which one on the task board are you looking for?
The one mentioning that roving beast. Seems about our speed.
Kind of gives a quick glance over all of you. All right. Let me go ahead and pull this out. And he pulls a small side bag that has a bunch of pieces of paper in it. He unfolds one section, sets it down. And your names?
Can we just all go under the Mighty Nein?
I'm sorry, but for the purposes of maintaining organization within the paperwork here, I need to know the names of those who are to claim any rewards or benefits of completing a job.
Yeah, I'm Philbin.
Philbin. All right. And you are?
Regis.
Aw, damn it. I can't say it now.
Yeah, fucker.
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Good at it.
Cowrie.
Cowrie.
Desma.
Smart. All right.
A berry.
Short for Barrymore.
It's short for Barrymore, but I just go by Barry.
Barry.
Make a deception check.
Handshake afterwards the best.
Oh. D&D Beyond.
What
Just remembering how to do this.
What screen are you on?
Wait. Hold on. We're still new.
Refreshing.
Refreshing.
What'd
It's
you roll?
loading.
There you go.
Ashley, that's DocuSign.
Oh, wow.
You're on the wrong app completely.
Really? Oh, wow.
Okay,
That's a number.
Okay. 13.
Okay.
Is it a minus?
It's a -2.
Sorry.
Right, Barry. Okay. This here is a writ of Lawmaster Intent. This will give you entrance to the location of where the job's supposed to take place. So, this supposed creature has held up in a sewer nexus right on where the Inrested Sprawl meets with the outer wall of the Tri-Spire. So, we need you to travel down there and, well, let's say there's a whole region on the inside where we've been hearing about this backing up of various liquid and strange noises from cleaners who were making their way through. So we sent a few Crown's Guards down and came across a massive congealed sewage slime and webbing. So we well, the fucking cowards ran back, and we need to dig deeper. So here we are. Find a way of whatever is creating this disturbance, kill it, take it back with proof of the kill, whatever, build that little nest, and the Crown is willing to drop you about 700 gold pieces.
That's 700 gold pieces.
That's correct.
And just for the entrance, they are aware that there are several of us. We are just representatives of a slightly larger group.
Well, you have to divide it evenly from the 700 you're getting.
Of course, but we can all get entrance from this writ, of course.
All the ones that have names on here.
So you need all the names of everybody involved.
There's more involved.
Well, we're called the Mighty Nein, aren't we?
Takes the writ. And who are the other companions?
Well, let's just send 7 of us down for now.
Yeah, that's fair.
7 of 9?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
we
really?
have our hands.
I've never felt such a hatred like this moment.
Wow.
What are those other two called? I forget.
We've got Karen.
Karen.
And
Rothschild?
The
Karen and Rothschild.
Yeah. So wouldn't that mean we would get 900 gold?
Yeah.
100 per person? Per, you know.
No, that'd be 700 gold split between the lots of you.
And just to be clear, there's no clearage of sewage. We're just here to take care of whatever's causing that webbing you mentioned.
Whatever's causing the blockage and the webbing, whatever else they found down there. Yes, take care of that. Bring back proof of the death.
Proof of okay.
But you
Do we
don't
know
know
what
what
kind
killing.
of monster it is?
Yeah,
No fucking clue. That's why you're being paid 700 gold for it.
Okay. Have people been killed?
People have gone missing. Think you're the first to try and take the job? No, it's dangerous. That's why we're paying so much. If you don't want it, go away. If you want it, here's the writ. Good luck.
Thank you.
Mighty obliged.
Yeah.
We'll take care of this most expediently.
Bye.
Wait, has anyone gone and come back?
There have been three times that it's been taken up, and one's come back declining it, and 2 that have not.
Declining it for any specific reason, or they just change their mind?
They change their mind a bit.
We'll
Fair
take
enough.
care of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
I sense a little sarcasm from you, sir.
It's a dwarven thing. The resting bitch voice.
Well,
enough.
Good day to you. We'll take care of this.
Great. Well, shove off.
Okay.
No, that's
yeah.
fine.
We leave.
We walk away.
All right.
Theoretically,
Yeah.
not that I want to be, what's the word, shysta or something like that.
Shyster.
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 Couldn't if they don't know what the monster is,
Oh.
and we have a perfectly good manicore head.
But then they're going to send people down there.
That's not really our problem.
Yeah,
Well,
but if
then
we
they'll
get,
know. Talking about.
but if we get the
Well,
gold
maybe it
first.
came back to life.
As someone who actually has towns that they can't re-enter again, for reasons that we will go into later, over booze, it's best to kind of keep a clear reputation.
Bo does have a good point, though. I mean, if we get down there and it's some world-ending monster, I mean,
we can just run back up and
And
then.
look, we found a manicore. Who knows that they make nests?
There's a blacksmith. who
Apparently.
knows.
Oh, do you think the blacksmith cares what the empire is doing? Blacksmith is just trying to survive.
I think the blacksmith will get 10 gold for telling him if they find out that there was a manticore down there that.
If the blacksmith knows.
All right, it's a good plan B.
It's an emergency
Alright,
plan.
okay.
It's a good plan B. I'll grant it that.
Where your head's at.
we'll head up to the outside and wait out by the posting where we last saw Caleb and Jester.
Okay.
Karen
Now that-
Rothschild.
Karen and Rothschild.
I'm gonna juggle.
Alrighty, you guys, after asking some questions, making your way around, you eventually find the Tri-Spire, which is not too difficult to see once you know what you're looking for. And you see these 3 very unique-looking towers that ascend past what looks to be a round wall that encases the interior of this kind of elite portion of the city. As you approach the wall, the outer walls you see are basic stonework and masonry, thick as they may be and used as from a defensive position. These walls are made of solid marble. and it'll look more decorative than designed to be a military buttress of any kind. As you approach, you can see there are 2 entrances to it, or at least you've been told there are 2. The one that's nearest to you kind of opens in the direction of the Penta Market, and while the portcullis is lifted, you see there are 2 Crown's Guard there, currently standing with spears and shields at the ready. You watch as a horse-drawn carriage kind of clomps by you and makes its way inside, and you guys approach, and one of the guards steps forward. Can I help you, please?
Yes, we have business at the Pillow Trove.
I don't think you do. Please, shove off.
Oh, well, I have business at the Pillow Trove.
What's your business with the Pillow Trove?
I have a package that's being delivered there. What business do you have at the Pillow Trove?
Look, your friend, he looks like he just wanted out of the evening nip, if anything, so it would be best.
I hired him to protect me because, you know, I'm very fragile and delicate. But if he doesn't look well enough to be my guard, you're welcome to walk me instead.
They kind of look at each other. Make a persuasion check.
Come on, girl.
Come on.
Come on, just.
Oh!
22!
He looks at each other, he looks back at you.
That was impressive.
All right, I'll walk you in, briefly. Don't get back to my post. You, stay the fuck out of this.
Sorry, Caleb. But you know what it's like, okay?
Rejected.
All right, to the Pillow Trove, this way. Follow me. The other guard kind of steps past him and kind of just blocks you from the other 2. And as the guard guides you in, he makes a big whistle sound, does a finger loop, and you watch as another guard gets relieved and comes down to kind of help him at the front doorway.
You guys are really on top of your shit in here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so now stepping into the Tri-Spire.
Does that happen lickety-split? The second guard comes down?
There's maybe a 20-second period where he's making his way down. He quickly, like, you get the sense of the look of this, and just glancing through the interior, you see what look to be elements of beautiful courtyard parks with trees and bushes. You can see statuesque structures that decorate where the various roads indicate. What normally was just dirt road with occasional bits of stonework is beautifully laid cobblestone from the interior. You can see homesteads of different styles of construction from all across this continent and beyond. This is where the money of the city goes. This is the district where the elite live, where the elite work, and where folk of very specific visual presentation and purpose are allowed entry.
Right. And as she goes and does her thing, I just want you to know that Frumpkin does follow her. And I leave and walk around the block and duck into an alley or any private place and cast Disguise Self on myself to look make myself look very, very resplendent.
Roll a stealth check for Frumpkin.
For Frumpkin?
Yes.
It's not very good. It is only a 4.
Ooh.
As Frumpkin begins to kind of run on his way in, one of the guards goes, pace off, poof, and kicks Frumpkin about 10 feet off and kind of stumbles and skids and then gets back up.
Does that take
Not okay.
any damage?
I'd say take 1 point of damage, yeah.
I rolled hit points for him when I made him, and it was 1, so he's gone.
You kicked this cat into oblivion.
You kicked this cat until
I
he
didn't.
burst.
I didn't.
This cat so hard. You kicked the highlights out of his head.
Who's laughing now, Billy? Who's laughing now? Anyway,
stray cats can't just wander into.
Caleb curses to himself and wanders around and does what he says.
Okay.
Suddenly looking very noble.
Super powerful.
But I'll let that go, and then I will follow up.
You guys, I kicked this cat today and it fucking evaporated.
If that isn't a beer-worthy story, I don't know what is.
Oh, no. Somebody punched me.
Caleb is pissed.
The guard looks a bit confused. As you wander back, he's like pointing at the tip of his boot and he's like, I don't know, it's fucking crazy. So what do you look like?
Oh, I am wearing the deepest black robes, and I have a black goatee. Very evil David Hasselhoff, you know.
Doctor Who.
Sure, that.
Yeah. It's very embroidered and
It's
everything.
all black velvet.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yes, the way the audience thinks Vex looked, that's what I look like right now.
Kneel before
I have a meeting in 20 minutes at the Pillow Inn. I don't know what it's called, but Caleb does.
Man.
Caleb does. I don't remember shit, but Caleb says whatever the name of it is because of my feet.
This is the smartest feat you've ever taken.
Of course it is. It was chosen very specifically. I say whatever it's called.
Pillow trove.
Because I don't.
It's gonna be bad.
Right.
I don't remember. He does.
The pillow.
I have a meeting in 20 minutes at the Pillow. The Pillow Grove. I know that's wrong.
No, you're
No, I know that's wrong.
deeper.
Right now, 20 minutes. I need to get in.
They both kind of blink their eyes at you. And as you glance down to look at your hand,
Yeah.
it's your regular sleeve.
What? The spell didn't work here?
It worked, but then as you approached, you look down and it's no longer there.
Oh, magic shit.
And you have a sense now. You kind of think back to the air of magical longevity that the spell would maintain.
Right.
It's gone.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no. Disguise self or
No. Yeah, I used disguise self.
So they dispelled it? They have like a dispel?
They've got like
We don't know.
threshold.
At some point, as you approached and then walked up to the gate, your disguised self just dissipated.
Okay.
And there was kind of the one guard that was there before is like.
Really good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a
Okay,
remarkable
I just walk away.
piece of information.
Yeah.
As you walk away, he kind of goes, "Yeah, that's what I thought.
Cat kicker.
Quick meeting, right? Quick fucking meeting."
Killer.
What a dick.
Oh, jeez.
You just made some guards
That guy
night.
needs to fucking.
He's not going to live to see that. Yeah. No. We're going to kill that guy.
All right.
Yeah, he's got it.
You are escorted to the exterior of Pillow Trove, which this would be over here in the Tri-Spire.
Look at all your notes.
I wonder how much of the Tri-Spire is like this.
It's got to be
A
locked
lot
up.
of it, right?
Yeah.
It's fancy pants.
All the Tri-Spire.
So you're led down the beautiful cobblestone street around the bend of this beautiful courtyard where you can see a family is currently sitting down and having kind of an open air picnic here amongst the grass. There are butterflies in the air. It's picturesque to the point where you question how engineered it is to a certain degree. But with a couple of quick spins, you see one thing that catches your eye, which is really interesting, is this massive one of the Tri-Spire towers that's closest to the vicinity of the Pillow Trove. Looks like it was this old temple that's been completely hollowed out and repurposed to look almost like a glitzy casino. There are banners that are just pulled across it of brightly colored silks that mingle and almost braid into each other. You can see at each different floor there's a different kind of tone to the stone that's been slightly altered. And you can see signs showing what looks to be different forms of entertainment. And it has a simultaneously historically awe-inspiring and gaudy combination that is intriguing.
Like Caesar's Palace.
Kinda, yeah. It's a little Vegas-y in comparison to the rest of this area. You can see and
there's clouds painted on the ceiling
basically, yeah.
for no
Yeah,
reason.
at the corners of these roads, you can see these tall lanterns that contain a very, very faintly burning kind of ever burning flame. And between each of them, there's a long white silken banner that just hangs as part of decoration along each road. So the roads themselves feel like they're kind of always in some sort of loose parade type celebration, but it's just part of the decor of the vicinity. The stark contrast between the outer steads to the even like moderately average intersteads to the Tri-Spire is astronomical.
Can I ask the guard, what is that building?
Have you not been here before?
No, I'm new to town actually.
Interesting. That is, well, you're in the Silken Terrace. What you're looking at right there called the Triumph Chime. It's got all sorts of bars, gambling halls, inn rooms, brothel, everything you need up here.
Oh, wow. I didn't think you had things like this in the Empire.
We've got them in places. What, you think we're uncivilized folk? Where are you from?
Oh, I'm from the Menagerie Coast, actually. Nicodranas.
Oh. Well, then you'll feel right at home here.
Quite.
Well, here you are, Pillar Trove. And as he kind of nudges over to the side, you can see this luxurious inn that has this kind of cylindrical appearance to the front and then turns into a blocky building behind. It has this very kind of gold and deep purple coloration to the pillars that hold up the various walls to each intersection. And as soon as you walk inside, the scents of scented candles and various lavender type smells kind of hit your nose. It's an element of it kind of reminds you of home. And as you walk inside, you can see there's a beautiful semicircle desk and what looks to be a human woman, probably in her mid-20s or so, jet black hair that's kind of just straight and dangles past her shoulders, watches you approach as the guard says, I'll wait here and escort you out when you're done.
Thank you very much, kind sir. I walk grandiosely up to the woman.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I have a package that's being delivered to here.
Very well. What is the name receiving?
Jester.
I shall inquire. I'll be back here in just a moment.
Thank you very much.
As she leaves from the front desk, you can see there are 2 Crown's Guard that are assigned to the sides that are just keeping a close watch on you, but they're kind of lackadaisically through their day. You get the sense they probably don't have to work too hard this side of the city.
Kicking shit up at Tiffany's, huh? Okay.
About 5 minutes pass.
Is anybody watching me?
Yeah, they're both watching you, but
Okay.
but not intently like hawks. More just occasionally just making sure you're not doing anything silly. You watch as a rather bounding, obese merchant in his kind of late 40s or so comes barreling down the stairway, kind of sniffling hard and rubbing his nose, and he's dressed really, really well, maybe a size too small, trying to reclaim a presentation of maybe a younger self of him, and he hasn't quite come to terms with the fact that he's hitting that age. But as he walks past, he goes,
Good day.
Good day.
Just exits the building. Another 5 minutes pass, and eventually the woman comes back. She goes, "I'm sorry, we don't have a package for that name here. Is there any other it might be under?"
Maybe under Lavore?
I'll check.
Okay.
She leaves again for another few minutes. Comes back after that. I'm sorry, there's nothing under that name.
Anything from the Ruby of the Sea, maybe?
I'll check one more time.
Okay, thank you.
She leaves.
I smile back at the guard like,
Comes back out. I'm terribly sorry. We do not have a package for or under any of those names.
Well, that's really weird. Okay. Well, tell you what. How about, because it's probably going to be coming, you know, I'm here really early for it, you know, so if it comes for me, when it does, could you leave word with the guard outside the Tri-Spire?
Which one?
Well, like the guardhouse, you know.
Oh, right, okay.
And then
okay.
I can just come and ask if it's been delivered, and then I can come. Because I don't have to walk all the way here, you know, if it's not here.
Very well. All right, I'll make a note of it.
Okay, unless I should maybe stay here waiting for it.
If you like, we could set you up with a room.
Oh, yes. How much would that be?
Well, it depends on the size. We have our general suites, we have the lordly suites, and then we have the diplomatic invitational suites. Pricing begins at 10 gold per room for the basic suites, 20 for the next tier up, and for the diplomatic ones, those run about 50 gold a night.
Well, I normally stay in the diplomatic rooms, but I guess the smallest room for now, just because I'm small.
Of course. 10 gold for 9. How long do you plan to stay?
Probably just tonight, because they'll probably be here in the morning.
All right. And that was Jester, right?
Yes.
All right.
Oh yes, here we go. Thank you.
Thank you. And here is the key to your room.
Oh, thank you.
Second floor, third door on the left. It should be number 12.
12. That's my favorite number.
So sorry I couldn't be of help with you.
Okay. I go upstairs.
Okay.
I sit down.
Get into your room. Door opens. It's a beautiful, small room, but well decorated. Nice, probably queen-size canopy bed. It looks to be a dresser with a mirror, a chair, a little
Mini
cabinet.
fridge.
Yeah.
Wet bar.
Right. Traveler? Are you here? Shit. Okay. Well, I don't know where I'm staying tonight, Traveler. I might be here, or I might be with my friends, but, okay. I'll see you soon, okay? And they run back out to the room.
You turn in the hallway to where you entered. You see a familiar cloak of deep green, hooded. The cloak kind of nods down towards you, and the voice slowly kind of cascades out from underneath. I'm so sorry she's not aware that you're here now, but you're with friends.
Okay. Do you think you could help me, though?
Child, I think I help you quite a bit already.
I know. You do.
What do you need?
I don't know how to let her know. I don't know what to do.
Leans forward and the hand reaches out and kind of takes your chin a little bit and kind of just holds it there. There in the kind of the dark space in the hood, you can just see the familiar verdant irises looking back, and kind of the warmth kind of fills you once more. The comfort that kept you comfortable so many years alone in that room. I think the more deeds you do, the more lives you change, the more confident brats you break. She'll find you.
Okay. Pull out the pamphlet. Look what I made for you.
The hand kind of pulls back and takes the pamphlet. Adorable.
People are going to worship you like crazy.
You know what to do then.
Yes. Okay. I missed you.
I'm never far.
All right, I'm going to walk. If you want to follow me, I'm just going to go over here.
As you look down at the pamphlet and look up to say that, he's gone. And you just hear this faint little...
I skip away.
Skip away.
I go back to the guard. Okay, I have a room here. I don't know if you need to escort me anymore because I'm staying here at the Philothrove. But I'm going to go, okay?
All right.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Hey! Guard, what's your name?
Reeve.
Reeve, it's so nice to meet you. I'm Jester.
He had his hand out. Looks like he's expecting some sort of a tip, and you
Nice
take
shake.
Oh, okay.
Hey, so that guy that I hired to guard me, I give him some money. Like, what am I supposed to do? Am I allowed to get him in here so he can actually do his job?
He's not an interior guard. I based on his markings, it looks like he's supposed to be at the perimeter.
The guy that was all in his tattered coat and stuff?
Oh, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Wait, he's not coming in.
But I hired him. I hired him to guard me, though.
I'm sorry, we have to maintain a certain kind of presentation here. It's...
All right. Okay.
Quickly, could I have asked around and found my way to the other entrance to this area by now?
Or to a Banana Republic, maybe?
No, I have this. Super quick question, a single question at the gate.
Yeah, you could have, in this time, you could have made your way around.
Found my way there. All right, so I just walk up straight, looking like me.
Yeah.
Excuse me, may I have a word of your time? May I have a moment of your time?
Piss off.
Listen to me. There is a store in here called Chastity's Nook that sells dirty books. I have heard of it for months, and I am going to shop at this store. And if you want to make 3 gold, and if this one wants to make 3 gold, you will let me in there to shop for smut at the store.
He watches his face kind of just... His eyes go wide for a second. He goes, "You're a fan of the Chastity Nook?"
I want to be.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Each of you.
The guard's a critter.
No.
Damn it.
You know, for 6 gold, you could buy yourself some real fancy clothes.
That... I appreciate what you're trying to do. Pay off a Crown's guard of the city of Zadash to let you, a lowlife from the skids of the town inn in the most expensive and most, well-guarded region of the city. I like my job. I like my head.
Okay. Enjoy working for the man.
Anarchy! Boom!
All right. Done. So, Jester.
I guess I go back to Caleb.
Okay. You guys meet up on the outside of the district.
How was it?
It was really pretty in there. People are kind of stupid, but they did talk to the traveler, so everything's cool. Also, I don't have any money.
That's okay. I have a little bit of money. Do you need some?
No,
I have about 50 gold. Do you want me to give you some?
That's about as much as I have now. It's so stupid, though.
That's a lot of money.
It's not, Caleb.
It is.
It's not.
That's more money than my parents ever made in their entire life.
That's what I made, like, every day for my allowance.
In full view of Jester, I reach into my pocket and take what's left of the mud. Just... And I storm off towards our
Caleb, I
original
didn't mean to
shitty
make you
inn.
put your shit on your face again.
I don't hear that.
All right. As you guys jaunt off to catch up with the rest of the troop, meeting probably, because you guys probably heading back to
Yeah, we'd be heading back.
To the Leaky Tap. You managed to gather in the center of the common area. You see a freshly muddied Caleb enter with a somewhat flustered but smiling Jester.
Yeah.
We're clean, we're relaxed, we're ready to go into a sewer.
Fitting. Absolutely fitting.
Didn't you just...
This is its normal look. I think it's very nice, actually.
I do too.
I thought we took a... Hey, I am not a person to judge. I know I don't look... It's fine. Where are we going again?
I like you. Do you want to hang with us for a while?
I don't know.
Oh, this day is great.
We'll take it.
Well, let's go kill something, yeah?
We're going to the outer wall of the Tri-Spire.
What time is it?
By now, I'd say it's probably close to 3 in the afternoon.
It's beast killing
Oh,
time.
it's beast killing time! Yeah!
It's time to eat some roast beef.
Wait, what time?
Maybe late lunch, carb up, and then let's fucking...
Yeah.
Like it, yeah.
Hot roast beast.
Guess what, Molly?
Some au jus.
I got a room at
French
the
onions.
Pillow.
Totally.
How would you get a room at the Pillow Trove?
Well,
Brisket
because my
sandwich.
package didn't come, so I
Yeah.
thought maybe if I got a room there, then I could check in the morning as well. Maybe.
Oh, that's very clever, actually.
Yeah.
Well done. Are you expecting? You're still expecting your package?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been not enough time, I don't think.
Sometimes I expect things to show up and then they don't. Can be very disappointing, but it's all right. I'm sure it'll show up.
It'll show up, of
Yes.
course it will.
Not that it matters if it doesn't.
The trick is to just not expect anything in life.
I didn't expect you to say that.
That's a good advice.
Well, then you'll never be disappointed, you know?
It's very true.
Yeah. Here's to abandoning expectations.
Abandoning
Expectations.
Way up from the airport.
Taking a little bit of liquid courage as you muster your weaponry and gather your way to the directions to the entry of the sewer where the currently acquired mercenary contract had been taken.
Before we end, Bo says, wait, should we have done research on what we're fighting?
Nah, we'll be fine.
All right, let's go.
He gives me a migraine.
And that's what we'll pick up next week.
Yasha!
Send all of your complaints for not knowing what would happen in the porno shop to @MatthewMercer.
I was
Sorry, man.
You just gotta get some fancy clothes, man.
I was
figure out
just
what
waiting for like the
really
drop to look at the shoes, and you look back. Yep, no, those shoes don't get in here.
how to get rid of the disguise self
Yeah.
blockage. That's a big
Dirty
one.
bookshop.
To go to.
What caused that?
We can go over the wall, around the wall,
they're
under the
sewers.
wall.
Oh, we gotta get in
We'll
that.
be
If
fine.
it's a vicinity
Oh yeah, no,
thing,
it's on.
We will get
You're
you
in it.
porn, Liam. We will get you porn.
Slut you shall have.
I agree. I think you just need a nice coat.
Gotta get to that shop.
Yeah, you just
A
need
nice coat can get you
Please
porn.
continue to try. Not every means to an end is the easiest and most straightforward, man.
Yes.
When I was young, we would just stack 3 up and put on a coat.
I want this to be like an Ocean's 11 style, like 3-episode mini arc just to get into the smut shop. That's what I want. Alrighty. Thank you guys so much for watching. Those I'll see you in Kentucky. I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I know.
Take care of my boy home state. Be
I'll
good to him.
Be back next week with Ashley.
Yeah.
Excited to have you home for a little while.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, so there was that. There was something else I was supposed to talk
You're
about.
supposed to say something about giveaways or something?
No, I was mentioning the giveaway.
Okay.
Was it?
No.
What were you supposed
Where'd
to
Lucky
say?
go? You're supposed to remind me of something.
On my
Anyway,
Lucky. What?
I was just reminding something. Anyway, I'll put it on Twitter if I remember what it was. But anyway, love you guys. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you next week. And is it Thursday yet?
It still is.
We had a bathhouse.